加藤さんこんばんは、レオンさんこんにちは。ハルピスさんこんにちは。じゃあハルタンさんだった。すいません。こんにちは。映ってる？違う。これだ。これだ。うん。モネさんこんばんは、ミモルさんこんばんは、リナさんこんばんは。画質。かっけちょっと待って。あれ？こうだ。はい。俺や。俺いた今。
Hello trainers and welcome back to the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League. We're back with
いた。俺いた。
the ACL League. We've been having so much fun. But Contra, what are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, I think that what we really want to look forward to is who exactly
イヤモンフェルトいつやろうマジで。
that number one spot. But of course, that's one step before getting into.
皆さんこんにちは。本日はDay4 ということで、わかりません。
Who will be the contestants that will eventually have at least one foot to the draw? Into securing themselves those tickets to getting into the grand finals.
Exactly. Now we do want to remind all of you that we currently have our microsite here that is live. If you need any information on
インターの日にやらされる巻き組み吸わせる、そんなこと言うな。
teams and the players participating on those teams, it's all right here. Just make sure it's bookmarked, and if you have any questions at all, you know where to go. It is your Pokedex for the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League. I know I have it bookmarked because sometimes I'm wondering like, when is this team playing? I really want to see them play.
Exactly, and of course, with all of these information available on the site, you will definitely know when exactly to
これ昨日気づいたんだけど、怪力への指が2本しかないっていう。
Anywhere at all, and you know what? Like we've seen a lot of
昨日気づきました。
picks. You can also look at some of the stats.
Yeah, exactly. We've had some crazy picks up until this point in the tournament. But we do want to remind everybody that if you're watching on Twitch, or if you aren't watching on Twitch, I do encourage you to move on over because we have the exclusive Twitch giveaway campaign happening right now until the end of the entire tournament. It's not just for today, it's up until the grand finals at the LAN final. All you have to do is make sure you have a Twitch account and register on Stream Elements. Once you've registered, then you're going to start redeeming points just by watching the stream. Yes, all you have to do is watch the stream on Twitch. Now, once you have enough points, you'll be able to claim one of our amazing rewards, which is
マ
on
ック
the
クル
screen,
ピカチュウやん。
but also
これ欲しい。
on our desk. We've actually
That's
got a
right.
lot of these goodies here. So Contra, what have we got here
Oh.
for our viewers?
Well, let's start off with the stacking tins that you are seeing
めっちゃいい
here.
やん、
It
ビクティン。
includes the booster packs for Pokemon TCG, and you definitely want to
このタイプ、アクタイ
your hands on it.
プ。
You can keep your decks,
上は
and
なん
of
だ
course
これ、
your
格
points,
闘
the damage counters, everything on board. Like, I mean, it's beautiful. It also is very shiny. And speaking of shiny things, you know, like
大沼さん、想像以上にあじゅんさん。そうね。P1 の時あったけど、
it also comes
マジ似
alongside
て
with
た。
I'm trying to fit this
foil.
behind.
Yeah.
Alright, there
Let's
we
put it
go.
all together. So you have 3 cards of the Galarian Articuno, Galarian Zapdos, as well
Pokemon
as
card,
Galarian
yeah.
Moltres, and it does come with a Surfetch coin for you to, of course, flex on your opponents at
Hey,
the same time.
You can also use it for the coin flip mechanisms, right? Because of
Mhm.
course you do need to go for those coin flips, and of course the folders. I think
That's
these ones,
right.
these ones I feel are going to be the most underrated rewards out of all because these aren't just not random plastic folders.
何
These
こ
are-
れ。
I don't know what to call them actually. They're like the duo.
It's like a hollow.
It's not hollow.
それ
It's
欲
like
し
the
い。
duo flip ones.
それ
Where
欲しい
depending
で
on
す。
the angle, you get the different image. So you're going to get a hollowware picture, as you can see on the screen with the Wigglytuff, and then you get the basic character image. So we've got Lucario here as well with his hollowware. I would have loved this if it was the Halloween hollowware. I feel like that's probably my favorite Lucario hollowware. But these folders are amazing regardless. We've got Lucario, we've got Snorlax, we've got Wigglytuff,
Kabigon,
we have, Pikachu,
Pikachu,
and then we also
Pudding.
have Cinderace as well, who I almost forgot. I think Zeraora. I almost forgot Zeraora. So we've got a variety of these folders for you guys to claim. So make sure, if you haven't already, make sure you make it to this giveaway and you start earning these
花さん、こんばんは。
points because this stuff is all free. There's absolutely no strings attached.
No
when
money
you sign.
involved, and all you have to do, just watch the stream.
Just be there. And this is for every single stream as well. So East Asia, Southeast Asia, and India. Now, speaking of streams, we do want to give a shout out to some of our amazing co-streamers that are also broadcasting the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League. So on the
何これ。
stream here, we've got Master Ramen, Skywee, and Ellie Gaming. These guys are also streaming on their Facebook pages, the Pokemon Unite ACL League. So if you do know any of these guys and you didn't know that they were co-streaming with us, head on over to their streams. You can watch it with them as well because you're also going to get their amazing commentary on top of the games.
That's right, and you know, it's a whole lot of fun. We know that Skywee is quite the amazing personality alongside Master Ramen and Ellie Gaming as well, so you get to be accompanied by your favorite streamers while you all get to unite as one.
Absolutely. So if you want to stick around with us, that's totally fine as well. We love having all of our amazing
あ、背
streamers
景変わ
tuning
っ
into
て
the
る。
broadcast. Now, for anyone that's
嘘。
here and you're kind of waiting on this next matchup,
変わっ
first
て
thing
ない。
before we jump into that, let us know in the comments or in your chat. Who's the team you're currently rooting for in Southeast Asia? I know I have a favorite, but I'm going to try and remain as non-biased as possible. If you need a quick refresher though, here are
Escape
our 5
5
competing teams for the
MIS は
Southeast
どう
Asia
するんだろう、
region.
今日。
That's right, and each one of them have
お休みなんかな、今日。
going through all these processes through qualification as well as through that
Exactly.
track record. Some of them are from WCS themselves, and
Yes.
also most of the teams are also hailing from the open stages of each respective Southeast Asia region. But
Yes.
other than Southeast Asia, we also do have the Asian Champions League for East Asia as well as India. So
アジ、
in
イー
East
ストアジア、
Asia,
サウスイーストアジア、インディア。
Secret Ship
High
as
five
well
and
as
T2. I got it. I
All
got
right,
you.
awesome. And on the side of the Indian region, we will have God's Reign, Marcos Gaming, Revenant Esports, Team Soul, and also True Rippers.
Yeah, and if you are looking to watch the
Really
Indian League,
pass.
that's going to be happening tomorrow. So if you were here for the Indian League, unfortunately it's Southeast Asia, but technically that's also a fortunate thing because I think SEA, we have a pretty interesting region so far. We've seen some crazy picks. The teams are very aggressive as well. And I don't feel like we only have one team dominating. I think there's a good mix within the region so far. We've had some pretty competitive games.
That's right, and we're definitely looking forward for a whole lot more to come. So let's also take a quick look at the tournament schedule. So of course, we did have the Chinese New Year celebration for Southeast Asia, so we will be playing
2月4日。
weekend
これ全部わかる。同時にはやらないんやな。
Team Rise going up against
なるほど。
Escape 5 to kick things off, and then there is Secret Rare versus Renaissance. And
Yes.
then we will head to our final week of the first stage, and I'm excited to see what's going down on the second stage.
Yes, exactly. Especially with how desperate some of these teams are to pick up these points. Because again, for Southeast Asia, this is your last 2 play days, right? If you can't get the points now, then unfortunately you're going to get that lower seeding. Now, I do want to remind our viewers that we do have a bit of a disclaimer for the matches today. Now, I know some players are going to be wondering like, oh, is it going to be the new patch? So just an FYI, this broadcast was recorded before the new patch dropped. This is not a live broadcast. This is a pre-recorded broadcast.
翻
And
訳お願いし
therefore
ま
we
す。
will be playing on the old patch. So we're very sorry to anyone that was looking forward to the teams
ちょっと待って。
to play on that
もう
new
一回見よ
patch.
う。明日は滝島さんがやるんだよね。インドリーグを。これってさ、イーストアジアのウォッチパーティーは別の地域の人がやってくれてるということ？セカンドステージ、プレイオフ、ファーストシリーズ。なるほど。Day4 はここかな。ライズとエスケープ5、シークレットリーグとルネサンス。
Rise versus Renaissance on the second match. But what
ファミリー今日本にいるはずだけど、
as well is that
どうなってんだろう。
on day 5, Rise versus Secret Rare and MYS versus Renaissance. My apologies, I missed out. We're on
so
day 4.
confused.
We're on day 4.
Gosh,
My
you've
bad.
lost
My
your
bad.
おい、もう Day4 かよ。
So just
マジかよって言ってますね。
confused, we're currently on day 4, which is technically also week 4. So our matchups for today is Rise versus Escape 5 and Secret Rare versus Renaissance. Last week's games were Escape 5 and MIS and Rise and Renaissance. You can go back and watch those games if you like. They are available on all of our streaming platforms, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Do go back. We had some really exciting things happening
Facebook、
in that
Twitch のプラットフォームで配信が行われてます。
It was the day of Greedent.
ウーパー一人入ると思ったら誰も使ってなかった楽しみ。え？あれ？昨日ハイファイブ使ってなかった？スマホでインター見よう。
Let's go through the tournament format once again. If you have just joined in, we are currently at stage 1, or should I say first stage, where we're playing the league stage, where teams are getting themselves points to secure positioning to qualify into the second stage with higher seeding. So what do they do with the seeding? Is that they'll be placed into a gauntlet run, meaning to say, if you're placed lower, you will have to start the run, and if you get knocked out, it's over.
Yeah, so essentially if you get the last seed, you've got the longest journey to qualifying for the LAN final. But there's also good news, right? The team that gets the first seed automatically qualifies for the offline final that's going to be taking place in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So first seed going to be highly contested. Second seed, or at least that second spot, is going to be the most highly contested for the remaining 4 teams.
That's right. Just to give you guys a clear picture as well, like what we just mentioned,
E6 がセカンドステージだから、
they will be
なるほどね。
to play, and the winning team out of that battle
これ、ああ、なるほど。2チームがいける。
by the winners of day 6, where they will
セ
have
カ
to
ン
beat
ド
the
は
second seed.
D6 いいな。
Automatically qualifies to grand finals, and
D6 で
therefore
こ
they
こ
will
決
still
ま
have to play
る。
to determine the seeding for
でも
the
シ
Asian
ードだから、
Champions League grand
どこまでやるんだこれ。
happening in Kuala Lumpur.
あ、なるほど。
Yeah, exactly. So seeding at this point,
2戦やる。ん
it's pretty
?1 日目は1戦なのか ?1 戦で、ここでサードとこう勝った方。
So for the current stage, these teams are competing for a $5,000 first place prize. Second team
$5,000
to get to the grand finals will get $2,500, and then $1,000 will be awarded to the team that gets third place. But unfortunately, that third place team will not be flying for the offline final. It's only going to be first and second place. Now, there is an added bonus actually. We do see the final prize pool, but here's the thing. the teams that qualify for the finals also automatically qualify for $1,500 on top of what they currently have minimum because they already made it.
That's right. And speaking of which, of course, we will definitely see who will emerge as the victors of the entirety of the circuit by then. But let's also go through the rules once again for those trainers that are looking forward to the matches and this is your first time. This will be the general rules where it's just like any other Pokemon Unite matches. It will be 10 minutes, but they will be playing in a best of 3, 5 versus 5. We'll be also having the stadium to be in Tea's Sky Ruins. And here's the catch. No use limits on those items, as well as now they also get to pick their support emblems, I do believe.
Yeah, the medals. So
yeah.
all medals are enabled. There are no limitations at all. They are all available. So this is, again, I think we mentioned this last week, it adds that extra layer of complexity, I suppose. Like, unfortunately, us viewers and casters, we don't get to see what medals the teams and players are using. But it does add to the builds. Like, is it going to be a tankier defender? Have they actually decided to build for more attack, more special attack, more health?
There's a lot of things that happen
behind the scenes that we unfortunately don't get to see, but at least we get to see items. Now, speaking of, we are playing in draft mode, and if you are new to this mode, essentially what happens is both teams will be allowed to ban a single Pokemon. Each banned Pokemon will not be available for your position. So for example, if both teams ban Sableye, nobody can ban Sableye. But if someone, let's say Team A bans it, but Team B doesn't, Team A can still pick that Sableye and not really worry about it. Now, aside from that, pick phase, that team will be able to have access to that first pick, but they'll only pick one Pokemon. Following that, both teams will take turns picking 2 Pokemon each up until that last Pokemon is going to go to the second team that got second pick. So that's their reward for not getting first pick. After your pick phase, we have the preparation phase where teams are allowed to swap their drafted Pokemon amongst each other if they want to go for a confusing draft. So even though you see your favorite player picking a wacky Pokemon, it might not be for them.
Exactly, and this is where it really is crucial that they work together as a team to plan things out, whether it's before they even get into the match or even having all of it being set in stone where, hey, they've picked this Pokemon and I think that maybe there is
ラジオ感覚で流しながらインター見る。ウィンターをラジオにしよう。冗談です。
The preparation phase definitely gives them a little bit more of an element of surprise to perhaps the opposing team.
Exactly. We saw this last week with Team Rise. So for anyone that didn't catch the game last week, I think it was Team Rise versus MYS.
D4 がラストかこれ。
So previously we saw Team Rise. They were very heavy favorites when it came to picking Dodrio. It would always be picked on Needle. Now in last week's matchup, they did pick up Dodrio, but it actually went to Axecube. Which is
スイスタジアはもう一緒あるけど、インドリーグは明日で終わり。
Let's have a quick snapshot at what happened in last week's games.
さあ始まります。かっけー。ウィーク4ハイライツ。이 스타지아 에이스 포일가
그러면 여기서 노쇼는 살아있는 게 중요해요. 그렇죠. 살아있는 게 중요한데 오히려 잡는다면 이건 대형 사고죠. 에페가 잡았고 이거 카이팅이 나가는데요 지금. 길가르다가 뒤쪽 갈래면서 이건 지정 깨지는 것 같습니다. 에스포의 완벽한 스라카 움직임을 보여줍니다.
노쇼ハイファイブシークラシック。俺らお休みの日、俺らお休みの週じゃねこれ。お休みの週だ。ノーショーに T2 さんだけど今2位だね。
So I think in this match,
これは
doesn't
東
really
南アジア
matter though.
そうだ
That's
だ
the
から
question.
ね
Like, do they do
種ガ
enough
ム欲張
damage?
りすが
Because look at
ね
this, like, if you're
大量発生してたんだよな
MYS, maybe you just turn
東
and
南
go
アジ
into
ア
escape 5 side of the map.
これはねアジアにはないメタだね
They're just extending all the way out just to hope that Renaissance doesn't extend their points and they will still get their hands on Blissey.
Yeah, they do get the knock-knock in the back lines, but I just don't think it matters at this point.
Uwa.
Eeyore does not do enough damage to threaten Renaissance. They're just so
うぜえな
tanky,
こう見ると
so strong. And watch this. What?
Okay, okay.
MIS
Players from True Rippers are there. Things can go vary. Rayquaza is also being hurt right now and being knocked out. In the meantime, Might finds 2 KO streak, make it a 3rd KO streak. Can he take
2-0 多いっすね
his position with the block? Gets pushed right into the mid, but he uses his Unite. Another Unite I think did get used, but a Unite coming in from wall finds value, eliminates the slow bro, and now Swifty trying to make use of his own, but a brilliant play coming in from
お2-1何これ
엄청나긴 하네요.
노쇼노?
근데 우라우스
아래가.
지금 묶여가지고 지금
하이라이터.
좀 아쉽거든요. 자, 잔디가 계속 힐을 넣어줘야죠. 이러면서
야,
계속
S4L 마저 유명한데요, 나.
S4L 위험합니다. 바닥에서 살짝
S4L
끌었고.
음악스기른데요, 나.
와, 이거를 컨트롤 싸움에서 S4L이 리드했어요.
あれ終わったノーショーだけこれハイライトヒンデ
And there
ィ
you
ー語
have
わかり
it.
ま
If
せん
there were any games that you did want to watch completely, we do recommend going
ちょっと最速いきます最速
on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. Go back and watch those games. If you're looking to learn how to play Greeded, I think that's the best week to go back.
勉強になりますどうも
That insanely crazy, annoying, tanky. What other word do we have to describe the Greeded?
Well, invincible.
Invincible, immortal. I think that's another one as well.
That's probably the best word you could basically use to describe it. And speak about looking back at the journey of some of all these teams, let's take a look at the standings as well as some of the matches that have also concluded and see where exactly they are placed. MYS, they have played 3 total series for the time being. And each record of theirs have been 2-1. They still end up with those 3-pointers, and they are currently ranked number 1. And Renaissance definitely is catching up. Meanwhile, they have played
9点全勝ですね MIS で次に RNS
and followed by that, it will be
Escape 5
currently holds 4 points as they did get 1
SR
point out of the
REIGN
series against MYS, and when they were going up against Secret Rare, it was a 2-0 victory, and Renaissance match, they take them down 0-2.
Right. So, of course, for this week, it's going to be, I guess, a bit of a spotlight here for our teams competing. So, the one team that's not playing is MYS. They are not competing this week. They will be playing in the final week for the first phase of the tournament, which means the remaining 4 teams are now going to have to battle it out for these next round of points. Now, of course, Renaissance looking to catch up to MYS here with a 3-point victory for their series. Escape 5 kind of in the same position, right? Like this team, they've played 3 games. This is their last game for the entirety of the tournament before their fates are left in the hands of everyone else. They kind of need to win here if they want to keep this 3rd spot.
That's right, and you don't really want to slip into the 4th position because that will mean that they will have the longest hurdle alongside with the 5th seed itself. So there is a very good chance where we'll see a little bit of a switch of position if there's going to be step up from the 4th as well as 5th seed versus
ライズは今2敗してるチームですね MIS ルネサンスはまあ強いから仕方ないでしょう
Now, they've played 2 matchups so far. The first against MYS, which they unfortunately lost, but they did manage to pull it to a 3-game series. And then their next matchup was up against Renaissance. Now, we did see this matchup last week, and it was
でも MIS に1本取ってるね
really tough series to watch if you're a RISE fan.
1位のチームに1本取ってるからポテンシャルは高いですね
That's right, and I think that that definitely will be a huge comeback story if they do get some good rounds out of this upcoming match that they will be playing against Escape 5 and then against Secret Rare. It's all about who really gets to climb at least a ladder higher throughout the gauntlet run. So
Right.
Secret Rare, sure, they did have their fair share of struggles, but now there seems to be at least a glimmer of hope for some of these teams to at least get themselves into a better state.
Yeah, but we do need to shine a spotlight on Escape 5 here, right? This is the team that's going to be playing up against REIGN in our first matchup of the day. They also kind of need to win this game because, again, this is their final best of 3 for the tournament. We're going to show the stats for Escape 5 as well, so we can see how they've done during the first phase of the tournament. Now, they're sitting pretty comfy. They are in 3rd spot right now with 4 points, I believe. But they kind of need to guarantee that 3rd spot by winning here. Otherwise, they might be in contention to lose that 3rd spot if REIGN take a game off of them here. So here is the total record for Escape 5 so far. Unfortunately, they got 2-0'd by Renaissance in week 1, but they did manage to secure a 2-0 victory over
Escape
Secret Rare
5 は
in week 2.
3戦終
Now,
え
in
て
their games last week against MYS, they did pull it
本
to
日
3
試合
games,
か
but they weren't
の
quite able to cross
1-2
that finish line, and unfortunately only took home 1 point from that series. And now in their final best of 3 for the first phase of the tournament, they have to beat REIGN. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-1, if it's a 2-0. I think if they're able to pull out a victory here, those 3 points should be able to guarantee the 3rd spot here for Escape 5.
Yeah, and when we compare both of these teams that are about to play against each other, like Escape 5 definitely have a very definitive team fight playstyle overall versus Team REIGN's team comp that did have different facets of it, but they do thrive in terms of having that Dodrio composition for them to actually sneak into the back.
Escape 5はね、よくスクリームするけど、めっちゃ強いね、Escape 5。
experimenting on how they would work better in terms of team fight. Who knows? Maybe they have already figured out how to decipher the team fighting styles of Escape 5.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, there's a lot of information out there that I don't really think you're in a position to hide your cards anymore, especially for Escape 5, considering this is their last game. If there's a secret, if there's a card, if there's a strat that they've been keeping up until this point, yeah, you got to put it on the table now and guarantee that 3rd spot. The reason why I keep pushing for this 3rd spot guarantee is that they are effectively dodging that match between the 4th and 5th seed for the 2nd phase, right? You want to dodge as many matches as possible to have the smoothest ride to potentially qualifying for that LAN final. Now we are about to jump into this game, Contra. Who do we have from REIGN and Escape 5?
I'll start off with Escape 5. We got Mudok, Mukrop, Winnie, Jazz, as well as Blacklight. And what about REIGN?
We have Zoe, Eeyore, AxeQ, Necro, and Illuna. Now, we do have a lot of information on these teams so far. On the side of REIGN, we saw this team favoring Dodrio quite a lot throughout the tournament. But if anything, I kind of say that they relied on it to win their games. The team has a bit of a shortcoming where they seem to struggle scoring points, right? We don't see too many of their teams distributing point scoring. It's mostly been allocated to that one person, mostly on the Dodrio player, either Eeyore or AxeQ. But Escape 5, I feel like they're also kind of good with Dodrio, so we might be seeing a bit of a fight here for that Pokemon.
Indeed, and they usually play with Mukrop as well as Winnie being the focal point of getting themselves the advantage. But before we even get to the game, let's take a look at some of their profiles. We start with AxeQ, where he played his first MOBA title when he was just 13 years old. So imagine how many
13歳からMOBAをしているらしいです。
getting experience to be so good at the game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen some great stuff from AxeQ on the side of REIGN, especially in their previous matchup. Although then again, I kind of feel like we also didn't see the full potential of REIGN overall, just because they had such a difficult opponent in Renaissance. But I am looking forward to seeing what REIGN are going to pull out to try and take this win away from Escape 5. Do they have any Pokemon that they're going to suddenly pull out and say like, hey, deal with this? Just like what we saw last week with all the Greedent picks.
And like when we have seen Team REIGN attempt some of all these team fights, we see massive improvements as well. And despite that, going up against probably one of the heavy favorites, I think they managed to somehow hold their own. I can't really say the same about Game 2 because of the greedin that was so tough to be dealt with. So I think like by now they should have actually had the wealth of experience to know that, oh, there are certain weaknesses that we have to work on, and there are strengths that we can play towards too.
Absolutely. Now we are going to take a look at the player card for Escape 5. Let's see who's going to be the representative this time. It's going to be Jazz, who loves to play Mr. Mime and Snorlax. His good luck meal is a omelette, and he likes reading novels. We had him last week as well. I think we sort of had the discussion where it's like, what kind of an omelette was it? And I think it was omu rice. But you said it. Yeah. I didn't say it. It was you. I forgot the name.
Did he change his Pokemon as well? I remember it having another Pokemon. Was it a Slowbro? Now he's like, I like Snorlax too.
No. It was definitely Snorlax and Mr. Mime.
Ah, right.
Yeah. It's all good. I mean, we saw some pretty interesting stuff from Jazz as well. So let's just see what's going to happen here for both teams for this week, because Escape 5, last game, desperate measures call for desperate plays, desperate drafts. Just gotta go all out.
This time, I mean, they have to start on a clean slate. They don't
Support
really have to
Pikachu. Let's go. I mean,
support Pikachu?
Why would you have the Pikachu sticker on your player
Pikachu.
Oh, maybe that's quite the telling sign. Could this be the day where they actually unveil, you know, like, you did mention that this is going to be the final game for, of course,
Escape
the Thai
5.
Open champion. So I feel like, you know, like, just go ahead. Either you want to surprise everybody out there, or you just want to show them that there's a different way to play out this game.
Well, I mean, this
Wow.
wouldn't be the first time I think we saw support Pikachu. I don't remember if it was East Asia or Southeast Asia, but let's see. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Support Pikachu is definitely not a norm. It is very much.
さあ始まりました。
But game 1 is going to begin in just 5 seconds here between Rise and Escape 5. It is going to be the Sableye and Urshifu ban.
闇ラミですか。
This is quite standard to begin with, and Rise,
Three
we
to go?
are thinking
ケインさんこんばん
about
は。
the trio that they've always leaned towards you, and
闇ラミバーン。
that AXQ goes for it once again, and yes,
初手堂々よ。
basically get that locked in, but now that also leaves a lot of space for Pokemon like Mew, and we also do have Scissors, Scyther to be
Urshifu
on
even.
board.
Yeah, I mean, Urshifu's even.
Urshifu
So Escape 5, because they banned Urshifu, I do believe that they can still pick it. It just means that Rise cannot pick Urshifu.
I see.
Yes. Although I could be wrong. Who knows? But Alolan Ninetales and Blissey, I mean, we've seen a lot of Alolan Ninetales recently.
ストライクが空いている。
I was asking for... Oh, okay, never mind.
ライズは結構
Oh boy.
I was talking to
アタッカーから取りますね。
Carson, I said, like, what if Blastoise makes an appearance? Because I don't remember if we've seen any. If we have, it's likely just
カビゴン、アブソ
But
ル。
so far, no
アブソルはなかなか刺さってますね。ドードリオにも強いし、まあストライクだった場合はちょっときついが、へえ、バリアードをサポートタンクの枠に置く。なるほど。最後はアーマージュですか。まあアーマージュハピナスの形は非常に強いですが、クリンがきつそうだね。アーマージュプラスパワーだし。アリスさんこんばんは。
They can basically single out a Pokemon in those respective fights, and they have high possibilities of catching AXQ on that Dodrio.
Yeah, I think it is very possible. If you're Escape 5 and you've seen how Rise play, it really seems that you have to watch where AXQ goes. If you can deny the scoring, it really sets Rise back as a team. Now, I don't blame Rise for actually first picking Dodrio, because firstly, they're comfortable with the Pokemon, and it's the first game. Like, you kind of want to get those feelers out there before you jump into the next matchup, whether you win or lose. But of course, Escape 5, they're going to have to expect it, right? I think it would be foolish to not expect Dodrio to potentially get first picked.
Exactly. Now we're about to begin it all here.
ネスさんこんばんは。今日ユナイト次へ。そんないろいろやってますね。
We're gonna be looking at
レーンストライクですか。なるほど。重要魔法師。 これ18強いのはさすがにエスケープ5だな。マホクシーの5レベがそんな強くないと思ったが、縦割りしてるぞ。縦割りストライク。メロボケして、ボッタナップクリーン。なるほど、これは、でもこれは18誰も5レベできないんじゃないか。マホクシーも4とかで、5なってるわ。なんでなるっけ。いや、マホクシーの5はね、そんなパワーはない。で、ストライクの5は絶対できないね、これ。ってことは、ちょっとアブスルの独壇場かもしれん、この時間帯。さあ、マホクシーが寄ったが、シルタリスを消して終わった。アマージョのレベル5か。悪くないっすね。
Wigglytuff isn't a healer, right? It doesn't give you any health sustain. You kind of have to rely on your goal pad to give you that healing.
16点、美味しい。
Escape 5 can apply in the top lane, and the fact that all the Pokemon there have some kind of sustain, it's really difficult to pressure out.
あ、釣れた。
But gotta be very careful. You don't want to be giving any experience away if you can afford it.
Exactly so. Zoe now gotta run. The mime.
ドードリオがね、今なったね。でも2分でドードリオちょっと厳しいかもしれんな。一番超強いから。やっぱり学習なしだね。学習1。対して、SK5 は2だよな。おたばり持ってたね、バリアードは。これはタワーダイブ。これ点数入ったらアマージョになるね。あ、でもいいカバー、いいカバー。まあ、アマージョできたね。7分半、ちょっと遅いけど、まあ、相手のね、ドードリオもそんな暴れてないし、ストライクもまだ暴れてない。ここ赤バフ取られたらドードリオもう何もできないね。ダッシュゲージが、と思ったが、避けて逃げ切る。いつも登録せず見たけど、登録者のみチャットにして登録しました。ミラー感謝。そうです、ありがとうございます。ありがとう。さあ、アブスラ9レベルできている。対してね、ライズはユナイトが上がっているポケモンが一体もいない。おっと、いい念力が入るが、下方修正されたことにより、ちょっとダメージが足りないか。マホクシー9レベルユナイトはもう使ってる。ユナイトがなかったのにもかかわらず、4対5、5対4だった。ユナイトがあるエスケープ5は4で攻めて、アマージョが1残りで、ライズは5枚かけたことによって勝ったね、これは。まあ5枚かけた価値はあるけど、めちゃくちゃアマージョが育つ、これ。いいドリクチ。さあ倒して、ドリクチ結構暴れてんな。ね、念力の下方はね、マジでかいね。あ、90%だ。スクリーンいないで使ったんかな。でも9個9レベルだ。倒したからか。巻き戻します。あ、ストライク倒して9になってるわ。10レベルのストライク倒したのか。なるほど。ユナイト惜しい。ファーストナーフサイトもまだ採用される。そうね、でもね、アジアはね、あんま見なくなったね。他の地域はまだ採用してるね。 ああ、いいダメージ出てたな、今。進撃か。進撃だ。いいよけ。さあ、ハッピーハッピーアシストがついた。で、魔北手しかいないとない。ライズ魔北手しかいないとないけど、ここのタワーダイブクソ強い。さあ、ほぼ不発。あとドリ口で消えた。追い打ちが消えた。不意打ちか追い打ち。さあ、残されたのは9コンハピナス。ただ、オブジェクトがあと何秒だ ?22 秒か。もう一戦できるね。今のはまあただキル取られただけだが、で、オブジェクトもゴールも繋がらなかったけど、もう一回戦始まる。
もう一回戦ね。
もう一回戦始まる。エスケープ5、ユナイト2枚しか上がらんかな。ハピナスは絶対上がらんな。
いや、南使っていいの？
闇波バンしてたよ。
俺らってルール上バンだっけ？
そうだっけ？
そうだよ。バグってるからね。
影打ちが使えないだけじゃなかったっけ？違ったっけ？
あ、そう、使えない使えない。
闇波自体が使えない？
あ、違うか。技選択別に逆の方にしたらいいんか。
多分そうだと思う。でも闇波バンしてたね。おっと、魔法ユナちょっともったいない。ここ入る。ハッピーユナない。いや、これプクリンきついよな。アーマー上プラパだと。
And I see another problem here. Nobody's dealing with the Dodrio. I mean, they're committing to every single fight.
流れはライズだね。3分だからな。もう切れるユナイトもないね。ワンチャン1人切ってその人がファームするぐらい。キル取れそうだぞこれ。おお、でかいね。40も入るなこれ。あ、神秘、なるほど。プラパ神秘なんだ。上止めれたらでかいけど、さすがにまあ点差追いついてきたね。いや、まあ、北シレベル高っ。エスケープ5はちょっとレベル足りないね。
13、12、12。
13、14、13、13、12、12はちょっと強すぎるな。サポタンが12なのが強い。
レベル高いな。
カビゴン10レベルだったらな。柔らかいからな、さすがに。歌う切らせたけどね、卵じゃないから回復が。
あ、でもこれ
いや、入るのむずいな、マージュから。お
お、でもこれ
でかいよ、キルしたら。ユナイト4枚は残っている。お互い残ってるね、生きてるやつは全部。
やばい。
反転するのかな。反転してる。魔法ユナイト切った。甘ユナまだ残ってる。カビユナも残ってる。
頑張ってるよ。だからアップするきそう。
ただ、ドードリュが湧いた。これは決めきるのはむずいな。
より口なんや。
ねえ。9本だからかな。でも秘密機とかで簡単に消されそうじゃね？いや、ドードリー落とした後難かったな。やっぱ プラパーマージュだったら止められちゃうな、簡単に。でもプラパじゃないと序盤成り立たないんだよな。
魔法に追いつけなさそうやったね。
A fine line. They had to win this fight, but there were so many prerequisites they had to meet. They had to eliminate the dull function line. They also had to make sure that their Pokemon didn't get caught by a sign.
あんま直しじゃね？
In this
わかん
fight,
ない、見
but
て
there
ない
were
わ。
so
直しじゃね？
many
なんでもなかった。直して
直しになってた。それでも入り込めなかったか。やっぱマホクシの機動
ボ
力が、
タンとニトチャがあったらやっぱ
ユナイトさえ食らわなければ、
意味わからんとこまで逃げれるから。
なるほど。あ、まあむずそうだな、マジで。言うてね、ライズの構成もマホクシめっちゃ守れるかって言ったらそうじゃないんだけど、
I think like Necro has so much impact because he has put in 107 by himself too.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, this is to be expected. This is very Rise, to be completely honest. Like, if Necro didn't score that 100 in the top lane, and I'm not sure if Zoe also scored during the double points, but we know for a fact that it was basically just AXQ scoring for the entirety of the team. Like, this is just a very Rise thing. Only one player is really scoring.
あと9個もむずそうやったな、さすがに。
I could understand what they wanted to do with the lineup. They wanted to be the ones to win the team fights. It was just they didn't win the team fights, even when AXQ wasn't there.
I felt like Escape 5 tunneled too much on those team fights.
がっつりした集団戦が起きなかったね。
Sure, you did have quite a significant
なん
output.
かストライク取ってたんか、ライズ。まあ、ホクシーにばっか目がいってたわ。
Somebody's got to look out for all these goals at the end of the day. And with that being said, I feel like Escape 5 will have to look into the draft once more to see something that's a lot more compatible so that they can have somebody to defend very effectively. Is it Greedent time?
I don't know if these teams play Greedent, right? Like, Greedent is a very particular Pokemon that has to be played a particular way. I guess like maybe another thing I want to add here for Escape 5 is maybe to reassess their draft, because I do think I wasn't a big fan of the Serena pick. I didn't feel like it was really impactful enough for the team. Like, we did see them counter scoring with the Serena. The Queen Ascendant is a really good Unite, but she just went down far too quickly to really justify the pick. Like, the whole reason you pick Serena is that she is immortal in those team fights. She's constantly life stealing because she's dealing AoE damage. But the nature of Rise's lineup, like, they don't really clump. So how are you going to be able to out sustain the damage?
ここな、アブソルユナイトって結構レベル差あったけど、5対4で普通に勝ったんだよな。
Overall, like, there wasn't exactly a point in time where anybody could safely get all the way to the back.
でもドリクチ結構いい味出てたな。
When they do, they usually come with another punishment to follow up with. So Team Rise definitely had a lot more
ピクシーとヤドラン取ってないんだ。
そうなんだよね。
They never backed down and
バリアードを取ってるやん、まだ。
そう。
Sure, there was a little bit of overextension in that early
日
game,
本とはま
but
ためて
at
間
a
違
very
えた。
good evaluation as well, where they understood they could still defend, they could still hold out until like more and more of these Pokemon get revived once more. So I guess heading into the final few battle, it's a little bit more of that overcommitment into, oh, let's basically take out
魔法火力出すぎだろ。
ね、一番レベル高いかったしな、ずっと。
最後の集団戦のとこ、一発でなんかマクシあれ、半分ぐらい取ってた気するけど。
なんかさ、レベル差ってさ、ニトちゃんマジ触れあるとマジそんくらいじゃね？
マジで。魔法火力出すぎ問題はある。
多分キアワだったらワンパンできるんじゃん。14レベルとかだったら。
And I think they were also too scared to fully commit to Rayquaza because they weren't 100% sure.
マジ魔法謎に火力出るときあるよな。
It could have been stolen very easily.
We were looking at the Rayquaza and we seem to see a lack of DPS out of Escape 5 because whoever that was set up there, like, sure, they have the Snorlax and all the other defenders that's on board. Like,
they don't have anyone that can shred.
The Absol was really far away.
Yeah, so Absol was far and they didn't really have the right Pokemon there to shred it. I think that's a probably really good way of approaching it. So it's again, it's a lineup thing. Like, do you have the right Pokemon to shred Rayquaza if you're in an advantageous position? We've seen teams do it. For example, I think it was the first game that comes to mind again is that High Five Garchomp Delphox Mew game, right? Where they just had the Garchomp sitting in the Rayquaza pit, and he's probably one of the best Pokemon to solo Rayquaza. He does so much damage, he takes it out so quickly by himself. If you have a Pokemon like that, you can pressure the opponents to
あれやね
fight
普
into
通
you
に
so that you can
アジア
react.
で今まで使われてたやつみたいな感じのピックやったね。1個前みたいな。
5枚だね。ウィンターは割とヤドランとピクシー
そうね。
取られてるイメージっていうか取られてたけど。
I think like they've gotten the right pickoffs and they've also created just about enough space
さあ2戦目。
in the final stretch. Now, let's head
これ
over
も
to another great
う一回エスケープ5が高校を取ったのか。
高校だね、オレンジだから。
さっきも高校だったかな。うん、さっきも高校だね。
何をバンするのかバンピック見てないんだよな、さっき。やりそう。
そう、日本語ないんすよね。タイトル見ないで来てウィンターやってると思ったら、来たらまさかの東南アジアだった。すいません。すいません。また闇ラミ同じやな。あれさっきストバンじゃなかったな。さっき何番だったっけな。
ユーラじゃない確か。
ユーラか、ウーラだ。
初手ドドマジっすか。
さっきも初手ドドだったんだよな。相当評価高い。
何を取るのか。
ストライク空いててもドド取ってたんだよね。あ、ピクシー来た。
お、でもバリアールなんだ。
気配りなの。
吸ってきたぞ。
何本吸ってんだ。
なかなかちょっと指が離してくれなくてさ。
I guess like that tells Rise to fully commit into these battles. Therefore, this is the reason why they see this fit to have that Delphox.
2戦目です。
Yeah, so looking at the Pokemon on the side of
2戦目で
Rise,
し
if
た。
you're
目の
a
2本目みたい
you
な。
kind of want to pick up a diver,
攻めの
someone
2
who
本目
can
も
get
う終わ
into
り
the back lines and really start harassing Eeyore because we saw
魔
last
法見
game
えてバン
Eeyore
ギ
was
出す
left
ん
uncontested.
マジか。
I also want to
もうパワーで押し切る。
Fable pick. I think this is massive. Being able to pick up gravity and landing a gravity onto something like the Delphox or the Dodrio, that essentially leaves these Pokemon like sitting ducks. They are not able to dash, and maybe this is the turning point for Escape 5.
Yes.
Having the Clefable stopping these Pokemon from being able
ミ
to
ラーはなし
charge
と。
your frontliners. Now, Tyranitar for Winnie's, we've seen what this man can do.
あ、フクリンの評価高いな。
マジ
That's right, we'll definitely have to bank it on it this time around, and they are also
タンク2枚いるけど。
in this final possible
Interesting.
matchup for
なんだ。こ
5.
れ。
So is this going to be the recipe of success? I really do wonder. For Team Rise, essentially they're running it back now with that Snorlax as well as Urshifu on board. I think like this is still gonna be stable.
They
It's
swapped it.
moved on the Clefable.
Yeah, they've
ま
they've
た
also swapped
また
it.
バリ
So Winnie-
学習もって学習ゼロなんだけど エスケープ 5
First time I'm seeing Blacklight play.
マジ
Yes, so I think
Escape.
big changes.
本当だ。
So Winnie is going to be playing on the
学習ゼロですか
Blacklight. That means it's going to be lane Tyranitar.
Wow.
I think it's lane. I mean, unless they change like where they go and it's like, hey, Blacklight, you can go central area with Tyranitar.
こ
Who
れは
knows?
ライズ
Maybe
が
there's
だ
a
いぶ
particular way that Blacklight plays and they're like, hey,
う
we
ん
kind of
強そうな
need
ピックはしてるけど
to
な。
be the Tyranitar.
そうです
I mean,
ね
I'm really keen to
バ
see
ンギも
Very,
ね
very
カビ
exciting.
ゴン
I
で
mean,
止ま
I
っ
just
ちゃ
can't
う
wait
し
for
き
this
つそうや
to
な
already. And for the fact that Necro is the one on this Urshifu, you
そうね、
would
バンギに対して強い CC 2個あるもんな。プクリンも言うて、
sort of playstyle that he
うん
had
歌
on
っとくだけで
that
邪魔そ
ユナイト自体はバンギに挟んないけど
う。確かに。
So with that being said,
メ
like
ロボと歌うは普通にうざそう
でも結局マホクシー倒さないと勝てないしな SK5
run it back, and this
そうね
time around,
バンギ動向よ
they
り
have another thing to deal with. How are they going to stop this Tyranitar from having an easy time in the early game?
Well, I don't even know if
まあでも昨日バンギ俺2、3回やった感じ、
Because again, Tyranitar are very
まあ確かに
momentum
オフェンスみたいに
based
ボタン
Pokemon that
持っ
you
ときゃ
can
1回ぐらいは
very
捕まえれるか
easily-
なとは思っ
he's
た
a
な。
very late bloomer
ボタン
もうボタンで強引に1回捕まえに行ってそこから頑張れたらワンチャンはありそうだけど、
ゴリッと1回減らしに行くみたいな。
1回減らしに行くみたいな。でその後アブソルが殴るとか。
リーダーじゃもう届かん。
届かん。
むずいよな、バンキー。
でも真帆が上手ければ上手いほど無理だと思う。
だって理論上捕まえられる気しなくない？普通に。
直しも結構渋いと思ったな、昨日やった感じは。
まあ当選簿には意味ないしな。
追いつかないんだよね、本当に。
And we finally do see Luna evolving into a really good top and pincer them to a wall.
こうできてる。
これは一撃か。一撃か。
またドリクチかな。ドリクチっぽいな。
確かにトラーターの距離だったら撃つもんな、一回。
うん。うん、カジャン入ってる。上はもう取られてるな、カリゴに多分。
ドリクチ練習したのに使わなかったな。
でもこの相手でもドリクチなの？もうドリクチ固定の人じゃないこれ。
ドリクチを取る理由があるんだったら取っていいと思うけど、むずそう。
消えなさそう。
ドライアタックじゃない、ドライアタックでダメな理由が
ないよな、どの相手でもない。
ドライアタックいいんだよな。多分だけど、バリアーと
無難に強いね。
高速移動がやっぱ。
そうね、高速移動がまず強すぎる。スピードタイプでさ、CC 向こうと、なんだ、
2個持ってるのずるいわ。
そう。キャッチできない。スピードタイプキャッチさえしちゃえばなんとかなるっていうのはあるけど、2段構えだからな。もう取りたいけど、あ、ダイビングで速度タックが。
And unless you can get a good position on that Devil Fox, you have to worry about where some of those fireballs are going to be coming from as well. And it looks like Zoe has spotted out Escape 5. And that was a really big heavy slam.
いや、止まってない、止まってない、止まってない。危ない。
No, it looks like Trio is actually getting eliminated in that top lane. Yeah, I don't think so. But look at this aggressive positioning from Rise. They say like, hey, we kind of don't really need to fully contest for a team fight.
念力、まあレベル差もあるか。念力のダメージが低すぎる。
Escape 5, this is where they're going to struggle, but I think at the 6-minute mark, they might have to turn around and show who's the boss.
There's just so many points being scored in this one fall swoop of a rotation, and Rise, they're just to the point that they finally caught out the Doctor. So,
今のかわいそうやな。いいドリクチ入ったのに、たった1回の不意打ちで殺されるの。
ルールが足りんかった。
おい、さなぎいじめになって、ボタン。
うわ
下方向から挟まれた。
ドリクチ使えてトライアタック使えないとかあんの？
ないっしょ。
ドリクチなんか絶対むずいだろ。
お、うまい。
お、いいね。
Interesting choice, but I do believe they got the KO. Actually, I think that was defensive. We didn't quite get to see that battle, but that means there's no Unite on the Cram. But I mean, does it really matter? Look at how many Pokemon are going down on Escape 5.
My word. Just look
魔法ユナいつ切ったんやろ。
なんか下で、あ、違うわ、魔法ユナか。
上がるんか
ルーナ
な。
は下で見たけど、下ってか上のフーラースの逆サイドにいた時に見たけど。
全然セカンド仕込みありそうと思ったけど、意外とエスケープ5もユナイトは上がってるな。レベル差はウーロスがちょっと高いぐらいだな。
Yeah, this is the scary thing I was really
Bang
worried
just
about because
now.
if you hit Tyranitar or at least that level 9 late, it really hinders his ability going into that late game because you want to have him involved in a team fight as soon as possible when he hits that evolution. But he is going to try and make it to that bottom fight. But I don't think it really matters. Escape 5 even survived long enough. There's just too much shielding, too much
ただ全部使ったな、ライズは。おー、いってる。あ、これ傷んなかったら。あー、偉いな、プクリン。でもこれ、キルカーニバルだ、キルカーニバル。バンギラスだもん、ここは。めっちゃレベル上がったんちゃうと思ったけど、ちょっと追いついたぐらいだけど、まだ追いついてないな。こんだけキル取ってもダメなんや。
バキャー
9レベルバリアーはもう苦しすぎる。
無力すぎるだろ、このキャラ。
1割も削れんな、9レベルだったら。
You're basically allowing Team
やばい。
Rise to secure the Reggie Seal overall, and like,
I mean, it's Reggie Seal as well.
yeah, like
That's a special attack and attack.
you really needed
ユナイト。
うわ、重力うざそう。おー。
でかいね。ドリドリドリ。届けば欲しいね。
いや、でも。
まあ、ホイナ強いこれ。いや、もうバリアードはやれることがない。
お、来たぞ。バカ。
なんだかんだ13はなれるな。いや、バンギアブ。もう12になってる。でもきつそう。もきつそうだし、アブもまだアブはきつそうやな。夏を使った？
They can have a chance to land that raid plaza.
よっ
強いな。
ああ。
Here's the thing with Absol. Sometimes you really need to get lucky with the crits. Oh, gotta be so.
バリアード。
これ無力すぎるな、マジでバリアード。
取れんだ、バリアードとかいうキャラ。
あれだね。多分連戦も負けちゃったんよな、バリアード。めっちゃレベル低かった。ナーフが響いてるね、さすがに。いやもうこれ魔法の一発食らうだけでやばい。お、言えた。でももうこれもラッシュでもいいもんな。やべえ、真ん中崩壊する。
抱えた。
全部抱えた。いやー、こっからバンギ一人じゃできないんだよな。ドヒ口強え。あ
まだある？ないです。
上がった。
がスティールするしかね。
もうね、スティールすれば一応勝ちだから。
いや、でもこれさ、真ん中触って
意外と取られたがシールド剥がせれば
入ってくるの待って待って。
150点ぐらいある。
なんじゃない、これ入ってしまう。
でも74。
まだ足りてないぞ。しかし入る。
あと1秒。いやー。
全部入るかな。
バンギが
もう全部入っちゃった。
It's not over if they can somehow knock out some big Pokemon and score, I want to say 300 points. Escape 5 can still win this, but it's a
これは真ん中崩壊させられすぎたな。強っ。ダメージやば。レックザシールド持ったマークシーのシールドやばすぎる。
深い。
もうあれマジフレだけで倒すそう。ニトチャか。おっと
終わった。バカ。
これはね、さすがにキック負け感すごかったな。
Exactly, and I would say the Indonesian fans will definitely be cheering very, very loud on their screens because this will be the clean 2-0 record being set by the Indonesian Open champion. events.
And this is also going to be a big downer for Escape 5 because firstly, their final game ends with a whopping
なんでなんだろうな。
0 points added to their score. So they are now currently fixed at 4 points.
ファビゴン服いたらさすがにきつそうだけどな。
Rise, because they won, they now have 4 points. They are competing. They are competing with Escape 5 for that third spot.
花とかになるかな。
Might get knocked down to 4th, heck, even 5th place.
What a turn of events if that's going to be the case. And of course,
魔法が
even when they do tie
魔
up,
法無双
it's
だ。
going to be based on
フッ
their
クがね、もうちょっと
head-to-head
ね、
record
砂
if
とか
that's
に
going to be the
あったら。
case.
ちょっとダメージ足りなさそうやね。
Advantage after
Exactly.
this successful best of 3.
Yeah, exactly. So
なんかバンギってメインキャリーに置けない感あるくない？バンギがダメージ出すのって相当むずいもんな。だからバンギが前張ってサラナイトとかで。
そうね、まあなんかバンギに火力任せるのはしんどい気するな。
うん、マジ相手次第になっちゃうよね。相手が上手かったら捕まんないし。うん、あと、ですね。そうね、まあバリーナでキャッチぐらい、バリーナ一緒にキャッチ力が右少なすぎるからバリーナしかない。レッドバンギで合わせるぐらいかな。
that we have here in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this team just feels better and better after every single game. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they look like when they come to that second phase, right? Where everyone has played their complete round robin matches, the information is out there, they can do their due diligence in researching their opponents and really preparing those, I want to say, the stinky cheese strats, especially for that next phase. I mean, I'm a big fan for surprise picks, and I feel like Rise, they have played a rather similar style for the majority of the tournament, and I kind of feel like this might work in their favor because you're going to come to expect a certain level of play from Rise, but of course in the most important moments, maybe that's when they pull out the crazy plays and no one's going to
どこ対どこ？
Yeah, and overall, like when we
次どこ対どこ？
どこなんだろう。
どこのチームが残ってんだ？ライズ SK5、ルネサンスが今日休み。
じゃあ MIS と
あ、MIS か。
SR かな？
あ、SC は確か。
うん。
今どこが勝ってんのトーナーじゃ。俺12票まで終えてないな。
MIS が1位で2位がルネサンス。
MIS が1位なの？
そうだよ。
無敗でね、今。
あ、そうなんや。楽しみだな。
MIS 日本でやるってことな。
MIS ってウィンターさっき出てたくない？
出てるよ。
ハイファイブに負けて。どうすんだろう、その後。これ勝ってたら MIS どうしたんだろ
う。ね
え。あれ、今日じゃあルネサンスが休みじゃないんかな？
まあ、ルネサンスだったら、カミルだけ出れないから、まあ、リザーブが出るとか？
でもなんか OG 比アイスって人いたやん。あの人も確か日本にいた気がする。
そうだね。ハイファイブのリザーブで入ってたね。
あ、ハイファイブのリザーブか。
うん、アイスは。
You don't want to wait till then. So if they have anything to do, they have to learn from these matches. So with that being said, all the matches have already concluded for Escape 5. But Team Rise, I believe they still have one more battle to go.
Yeah, so I think out of all the teams, only Escape 5 have played.
今回海外メンツ多くていいね。前回来れなかったからさ。
確かに。
なんかバイオレットとかいいチームよな。
日韓混合？
日韓混合だし、カミルもいる。
確かに。カミルどこの人かわかんないけど、なんか、
東南アジア。
観客で見に行きたかったわ、オフライン大会。
ね、面白そうやね。観客どれくらい入れるんやろうね。
結構でもなんだっけ、バルーンみたいな音するくね。
Of course, through all the trials and tribulations of the past few weeks,
あさみさんこんばんは。
to celebrate with a lot of all these great efforts that they've put out, and I really do wonder if we do get to speak to the boys, you know, like how exactly does it feel to finally get those clean 2-0 record to secure their very first 3-point?
Yeah, I think this would, if we manage to get this interview, this will be our first interview with the team because they haven't won any games up until this point. So it would be, oh no, unfortunately we got some bad news, folks. We will unfortunately not be able to have an interview with Rise, but maybe in the future we will be able to speak to them. I'd love to hear their
何言っ
thoughts
てるか
and
全くわからん。
especially get to know them
そう
as
なん
well.
よ。
Because you know, for not just the
この時間気まずいんよ。
aside from the usual faces that we are
俺がウィンタートーナメ
very
ント
aware
の
of and
実
are
況するわ。
existent in the scene, we love talking to some of the newer teams because you want to get to know them, their personalities, the team's play
ユナイトラ
style.
ンプ、ゲンガー、アロ
I
ー、すごっ、
love
構成すごい。
knowing who's the
お、
shot
強っ
caller,
超
who's the
アサシン。
drafter, and maybe sometimes
ズズズレイとマホクシーワンパンしたアローが強すぎる。え、あるんじゃないこれ。ユナイトランプ。いやー。いやー。
おい、俺遅くて見れない。
なんかこれ、もったいないんじゃないか、ユナイトランプ。いや、でも耐えてる。
どこで100点返した？ハイファイブ。
わからん。
点差負けだったのに。
センディがやっぱ強いわ。
なり弟？
うん。テラチャー見てないけど、1カメの時にね、岡本さんがゲンガーが4連続キロしてマジでうまかったんやけどな。
てかさ、ハイファイブってさ、誰かがさ、無双するよね。
アタッカー全員ね、
アタッカー全員マジうまいんよ。
1人が落ちても2人がキャリーしてる。今回ズズズでマジ。
なんかね、マジみんなう
田
まい
川山さんがうま
わ。
かったから、一瞬で死んでたのに。
なり弟がなんか事故ったら BKZ とかがズズレイが無双するし、他の誰かが落ちても残りの2人がやるんだよな、マジで。
MYS 休みじゃん。
MIS が休み、じゃあルネサンスか。
え
ウォッシュマン、フープ、いいだろ。ウォッシュマンじゃない、ルビスだ。
ん ?RNS 何？
まだ無敗だ
あ、
よ。
ほんとだ。試合数が少ないだけだ、これ。で、MIS がお休みだから、今日同率1位になるかもしれないね。
直接対決まだしてない。
直接対決、Day5 のラストじゃない？おもろすぎる。1位争い、Day5 で。うん。いや、どっちが強いんやろうな、MIS とルネサンス。
MIS とルネサンス。MIS 誰がいるんだっけ？
RNS のカミル以外。で、ルネサンスがオラウータンゲーミングにカミルが入った。わからんくね？でも MIS も相当強いよな。
強いな。東南アジアは相当レベル高いと思うよな。
そうね。でも1位の MIS に 2-0 だったからな、ハイファイブ。って考えるとハイファイブお化けじゃね？なんかね、集団戦がすごいわ。どんだけ負けててもどっかでひっくり返す。ハイファイブは。なんかね、別に特にね、特殊なことはしてないんだよな。ちゃんと
決勝ハイファイブ対小山区。
次決勝？
で決勝。
いいね。
あれ今出てたんどことどこ今？あ、じゃあ今ハイファイブか。俺らが見たユナイトランプと。
ユナイトランプとハイファイブ。お、マジカルリーフや。コンフィー？
強いかもしれないキャラ。
強いかもしれないキャラです、これ。
小山区対ハイファイブ。
楽しみやな、そっちも。
ユナイトランプも相当強かったな。
うん。
序盤食いついてるだけすげえよな、ハイファイブに。
ゲンガー面白いね。
あの人のゲンガーなんかめっちゃうまい。ランクで俺しばかれた記憶あるから。
岡本さん、誠さんだ。岡本誠さん。ね。なんかスクリームじゃね？ゲンガー使ってきたの。
スクリームか。 かなんか出そう。
いいね、こういうピック持ってると。
そうね。ユナイトランプはなんか、
アローとかね。
いい意味で日本っぽくないというか、
うん。
海外っぽいピックやったな。
まあ、しかもね、そのキャラをちゃんと扱える人たちがいるからな、アローも、
そう
ゲンガーも。
ヒーロープール広いな。マッシブーンのスキンさ、みんなかっこいいって言うけど、これ。
いや、かっこいいでしょ。
俺だけかな。
なんかね、でかく見えるんよ、めっちゃ。
センスがずれてんの。
めっちゃでかく見える。
これ俺バトルパススキンの中で一番
嘘
って思ったけど、歴代バトルパススキンの中で。
このスキンもかっこいいって思う人は、これと似たような服を買ってきて。
いや、そういうわけじゃないんよ。
そういう意味じゃないんですよ、ホワチ君。
マッシブーンに似合ってるってこと。
まあ、渋になろうよ、じゃあ。
マッシブーンになれない。
アジュンさん、ああなるかもしれないよ、ジム行ってるから。
ムキムキで足4本になってるかもしれん。
アジュンさん、逆三角になるかもしれないよ。
バトルパスのスキン見てみ。
全部いい。
今回ちょっと歴代最低評価。
いや、全部いいです。
いや、全部いいよ、そうよ。
一回も買ったことない。
俺もね、ミュウの時と S 1の時しか買ったことない。
S はいらないだろ。
S は使わないから。
S は買ったんならバトルパスは全部買えよ。
はい、てか S 1の時は、シーズン1だったからね。なんか。
大井さん、WCS に出ると、去年はですけど、2個スキンもらいました。
なんでも。
何でももらいます。アブソルももらいます。
アブソルだけ買わないと後悔した。
アブソルいいな。アブソルいいよな。
今年頑張るぞ。アブソルのスキンを求めに。もう今年もらえるか知らんけど。
いやみんなからコードをもらうから実質10個や。
なんだっけ、このさ、
コードとかじゃなかったよ。
じゃないの？
対象指定のさ、アブソルの技の方なんだっけ、追い打ち？追い打ちか。追い打ちで急所出んのずるくね？
あははええとかな。
そう。あはええとか。
あはええっていう人はリベって言っちゃった。
あと、追い打ち、追い打ちがブリンクスキルだよね。
うん。
追い打ち顔で受けてるのに急所出ると、んってなる。あはありえとか。
でも、あいつ、あれやでな、メダルで急所持ってないらしいからな。
ね、
毎日神様にお願いしてるって言ってよ。
なんかおかしくね？
持ってないんだよね。
やってる。
絶対おかしいよ。
教えてもらったけど、持ってないんだよね。神社行ったわとかしか言ってないんだよ。
じゃあ本当にそれだわ。
コツは神社って言われたもん。
エスケープ5もスクリームした時は普通に強かった。ってことはライズが相当強いってことやな。
そうね、レベルは高いと思うな。
うん。なんかマジ横並びって感じするよね。そんな差なさそう、どこも。
ね。
取ってきまーす。
あと何分後 ?45 秒。ウィンターはウィンターまだわかんねえな。連ウ待ってたな、そういや。ウィンター。見たホバチ。
What's up, trainers? Welcome back once again. We have one more great Pokemon Unite series for you to witness here in the Asia Champions League, Southeast Asia. My name's Contra. Here with me is our beautiful Natalie, and we're definitely going to be thrilled about this matchup because we do have Secret Rare that's going to be going up against Renaissance.
It's a pretty scary matchup for this team as well. So unfortunately for Secret Rare, this team is currently at the bottom of the leaderboard. They are in 5th spot and they're going up against a formidable team in Renaissance. We've seen what Renaissance can do. I think some people are going to be expecting a 2-0 series from this series. I kind of feel like Secret Rare are going to be one of those rarities that could actually bring it to a 3rd game.
Yeah, and when we look into the stakes here, right? Like, Renaissance definitely won their proven track record of 2-0 to be kept the way it is.
ウィンターもアジアリーグも
I wonder if Secret
ポケモンユナイト競技シーン
Rare
多く
in
て
this
おもろい
dangerous
な。
live kind of battle, and
競技
if they do, then what's gonna happen? Who's getting the 3rd seed?
Exactly, because
あ、じゃあ
we
ポケモン
currently
ユナイト
have
終わ
a
りま
very
せんか
interesting situation
ね
on
競
that
技シーン多くて面白い
So
ね。
we have 2 teams currently stuck at 4 points apiece. Escape
確
5
かに
and Rise.
ずっとある気が
Escape
する。
5,
ま
they've
だ。
completed all of their matches. They are essentially waiting to see if they will stay in that 3rd spot. But the remaining 2 teams down there, Escape 5, unfortunately, are not going to be able to determine Rise's fate. Rise have 1 more game to go. Secret Rare, I
楽しみで
believe
す
they've
ね。
got 2
ウ
more
ィ
to
ン
go.
タ
So
ー
they
は
have
ウィン
2
ターで。
chances to get a victory. Now, assuming they win a game here, that's a big advantage to Secret Rare, because if they get 1 point from this series with Renaissance and they win the series for their final game, they will actually get the 3rd seed.
That's right, and like there is still ample of opportunities for them. So at
Too much
least
math.
start small, but of course we don't really want to fully confuse you. So of course we'll show you guys everything in pictures, of course. So you definitely not have a look into the standings itself and who's going up against who.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the updated leaderboard for anyone that might be a little bit confused on what we're talking about, because these teams are playing for points. These points are going to be converted to their seeding for the next phase of the competition. So essentially, the team with the highest points will get the 1st seed, meaning they automatically qualify for the LAN final. Now, the rest of the teams, they will play more matches depending on how many points they have. So the team that scores the least amount of points here will have to play the most amount of games. And the same, unfortunately, happens to the team in 4th place, because they have to go up against each other first.
That's right, and now when we look into the standings, of course, Renaissance, if they secure 3 points, they will basically be tied with Team MYS, and so far they had a clean 2-0 record, so it really boils down to that eventual battle head-to-head.
Yeah,
so
right.
before that happens, I think like the most interesting part has been the talk of the 3rd position all the way to 5th, where there's so many possibilities.
The race is so close, and I think it would be absolutely bonkers if Secret Rare somehow
全然何言ってるかわからん
win
し、
the
アジア
series
リーグ。
against Renaissance, and then we have
でも、これでもいいよ。
like a 3-way tie for 3rd place, because all the teams would be sitting on 4 points. The only X factor being that Escape 5 have played all their games, so they technically
なんでフィリピンは
can't
1位のチーム出ないんだろう。
And I
2
feel
位の
like
チ
it's
ームが
an
出てる、フィリピンだ
unfortunate
け。
situation for Escape 5 where I think by now, like,
フィリピンっ
it's
てどこ
inevitable that they will have
バナナがうまいとこ嫌よ。
the very first round of the
バナナが美味しくない
the second stage, meaning to say
あ
it's just
眠
up
たいんかな
down to Secret Rare as well as Rise, and this is what we're in for.
Yeah, I
1位
think
いない
out of all
と
the regions, I guess Southeast Asia is probably sitting on the
なんでだろう。
tightest leaderboard,
切る
if
の
I
やめた
do
んかな。
say so myself. Very, very
わからん。
competitive here so far. But of course, it will depend on the team's performances and if they can take those crucial games. Because, I mean, it might look close now, but for all we know, during that final week, we have some game-deciding series that might lock in these teams.
Dad, Heart One, as well as Junior absent.
And on the side of
Kamiru.
Renaissance, we have Kamiru, Rufus,
あれ
Ice, Solar,
カミル出んの
and
今日
Dev. Now, I know that we're all pretty fresh when it comes to Renaissance.
お前
We
ス
saw
タ
it
ーが神
last week.
ルビ
And
ス、
then
アイ
this
ス、ソロ、デブ。
team,
アイスも
アイスもいるじ
出てるじゃん。
ゃん。確かに、この2人とも出れなかったら、リザーブじゃ足りないわ。
Dragapult series, I think it was during the first week.
Which is why,
東京タワーからやってんの
mentioned, yep, we're gonna shelve it for the
それかもう、あれでもハイファイブ、あ、違う、もうあれじゃない帰ってるんじゃないホテルとか、それか。
まあ、会場でやるのは難しいだろうな。
今日のうちに帰るのもできないだろうから。
無線はきついぞ。まあ、スマホだったらいけるじゃん。カミラスイッチじゃなかった？
カミラスイッチだった気すんな。ツアーミバダン。
なんだっけ、この元々のチーム名、シュアとかいた去年ウィンター。AFR か。
そう。
シュアマジうまかったよな、去年。
やばかった。去年のオフラインにシュアに破壊された。俺ら。
ブレバーローだ。
よかったな、シュア。サポタンの人がミュウ持つみたいなのあんのこれ。この人ミュウとカビゴン。
だからデキン5人衆の時にサポタンいなくなったからよ。
ああ、なるほど。
Well, I haven't tried it myself. Like, that got me really curious. Should I jump on board?
You should. It's available on the Switch just in case. The mystery dungeon-esque sort of games. It's super fun. I'll show you after the stream. But yeah, I love the mystery dungeon series. Now, of course, let's take a look at our player on the side of Renaissance. We're going to look at Rubis here. His dog's name is Ruby, and he's a Pokemon fan, but he doesn't actually like MOBAs too much.
Huh, that's actually pretty interesting. Like, I guess, like, there is something for everyone. I wonder, like, you know, like, has Pokemon Unite
ルビスの犬の名前 EV らしいな。EV
マジかよ。犬の名前 EV
いいやん。I'm Pokemon ファン but not MOBA ファン。
You gotta have like one of the evolutions as your favorite Pokemon to play.
なんだこいつ。
surprised to see Pikachu
ポケモン大好き野郎じゃないか。
A lot of players when they start the game, Pikachu is
愛がありますね。
kind of get. It's rather easy to
自
play.
分のワンコに EV はちょっと愛ありすぎかもです。
Actually quite difficult to play.
Yeah,
it's a funny Pokemon, right? It's like it's easy when you start, but it's hard once you get up there.
Yeah, because like there's so many more new Pokemons to be introduced, and then there's a lot more layers of complexity once you do meet better opponents along the way.
It's also positioning, I feel. Like Pikachu, it's one of those Pokemon where if you're able to have a flawless game, you are incredibly high impact, but your health pool is so small and you don't really have an escape mechanism, so it's very easy to punish. But aside the Pokemon talk, let's take a look at the score lines for the teams competing in this final best of 3. Of course, we see Renaissance on the screen. They're sitting in second place with 6 points so far, hot on the heels of their competitors.
2020やっぱ Day5 MIS や。おもろそう。
They're hoping, if you're MIS, you are praying that Secret Rare win this.
Yeah, like if that actually is the case, that will basically secure MYS in the top position, perhaps, unless on the battle between Renaissance as well as Team MYS, Renaissance gets a 2-0.
Maybe.
Then what happens then?
Yeah, some crazy business, if anything. Alright, so that's going to be the quick snapshot of Renaissance. I mean, this series, I think it's going to be rather exciting. It's our final game of the day. Let's take a look at Secret Rare's stats so we get a better picture on how they have been performing so far in the tournament. Now, they didn't play during week 3, but of course, they still have 2 more series to go. They managed to pull off a 2-1 series against MYS. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but they did pull it to a 3-game series. Day 2, though, week 2. They actually got 2-0'd by Escape 5.
And this is where they got themselves into the predicament where they need to find their way back up. And of course, there's only 2 more chances, one being now against Renaissance and also the final game
リーグッドリールは MIS と Escape 5に負けてしまっている。
So I guess like at least there is a couple of opportunities for them to really prove themselves.
今5位か。
多いですね。
stages of the tournament.
Yeah, I suppose. Now, there are a couple X factors. I kind of feel like Secret Rare could make a climb. First thing they have to do is pull out a Game 3 against Renaissance to pick up that 1 point. And then they need to either beat Rise to guarantee top 3, because I think this pushes them to 5 points. Otherwise, let's say they lose this set, but they 2-0 Rise in their final week, then we have a 3-way tie for third place. So it'll be pretty intense.
Yeah, and I guess like we'll eventually get into the resolution of if in the case that happens, of course. So now when we go
2
back,
weeks from now, it's fine.
2 weeks from now, yeah, well, I have a little time. Like we get to think about it. Like when we look into both sides of the coin, of course, Renaissance. I don't think that there were many weaknesses that other teams could actually exploit by now, because they have been very creative with that draft. They've always been able to explore even other types of Pokemon than the usual ones that are currently in the meta. So I felt like this team is so robust. Meanwhile, as far as Secret Rare, this is kind of like all or nothing right now. They will have to play very flawlessly. They will have to stick to what has been proven to work out. So perhaps if Renaissance were too ambitious on their exploration phase, then maybe that one game may slip away.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Renaissance, I think I'd want to play with my best draft and my best foot forward here, because you really want to make sure that you get those 3 points so that you tie with MYS for that top spot. Because again, that best of 3 in week 5 is going to be the determining factor on who actually makes it to first seed from MYS and Renaissance. Now, here's the thing. I think for Secret Rare to possibly take this series, I think a lot of it is going to boil down to drafting and that Rayquaza fight. I feel like for some of the teams, especially the ones that are going up against Renaissance, Rayquaza is a defining factor for some of these teams, because firstly, Rayquaza is a big win condition. You get the Rayquaza, you get the shield, which gives you that scoring speed bonus and attack bonus. We've seen so many teams make a comeback from getting that Rayquaza because they had the attack bonus that actually helped them get those crucial knockouts so that they could score freely. But we've seen Renaissance be so good at camping the Rayquaza pit that it's almost impossible to even get it.
Yeah, but then you have to also reflect back into the matches that they did get 1 game off of Team MYS, and it's arguable that they are of the same caliber as compared to Renaissance, of course. So if they could have done it in the past, I'm saying that 1 point at the very least is very, very possible.
It might be like the one team that can take a game off of Renaissance for now, but we will have to see as we jump into our first game of this best of 3 series between Renaissance and Secret Rare. There's a lot on the line for these teams. If somehow Secret Rare can win this series, this is going to be a big push to pushing them up that leaderboard. As for Renaissance, they just want to get these 3 points to tie with MYS. I don't even think they care if it's a 2-1 score. They just want to win.
That's right. And of course, with them now deciding on the bans, we'll quickly have a look at what's being removed from play. It will be Caesar alongside Renaissance and Secret Rare to take out so no more pesky high mobility all-rounders in that sense. And Camille is going to open up this draft like, I'm ready to be surprised. I mean, what's the flavor of the day?
さすがにミュウか ハピナス
Oh, we do see the Mew on Secret Rare.
Yeah, Secret Rare get the Mew. I'm not surprised
Yeah,
that Renaissance pick up the Blissey. This is such
ヤドラン評価高いね
right now. I think it is the most highly contested
ヤドラン強えなヤドミュウ強えな
Snorlax is probably still
もっとタンク増えないかな。
それな
少ないよね。
少ないよ
They can go for something else. We've seen them actually go
白髪回復だヒーラーピクシーはいないね
ピクシーも取ろう。
3体
ピクシーも取ろうルネスタズ。
もう要塞作る
ここまで来たら取ろう。
Is that a cross? I was gonna say.
ガルドまあガルド強いなピクシーワタ
Double defender So we've seen double defender a couple times. I think it may have been secret rare during the first week. I'm not 100% sure. But it's an interesting pairing. Now, one thing I'm not a big fan of is that going double defender.
あ、アマハピか。
あ、撫でたサナ。
ダブルメイジじゃん、ダブルメイジ。油断性は強いけど決め手にはかけるね。
いや、月光が、手話といえばこのアジアリーグ月光がですよ。
SOL の月光がもう超強かったからな。
強い。
ね、なんかメイジが増えるんだったら月光が流行ってもおかしくないけど、あまりにもスピードタイプが強すぎる。ストライク、ドードリをアブソル。序盤からゴレベクが強いしな、その3体は。対して月光がね、序盤強くないから。でも闇ダメ減ってるから使いやすいよね、月光がまだ。これはね、わからんな。アマハピ作ったら後ろ崩壊しそうやな。サナマホがきつくなりそう。かといってアマ単体で何かできるかって言われたらちょっとメイジが頑張るしかないな。アマちゃんも前出ずに。でもカミルのサナか。じゃあ勝ちだ。赤は吹くんかな、ラガが。赤は吹くったな、多分。
嫌だわ。
赤バフシラがくすってるよね。
マジで嫌だ、これ。
下速攻離隠したんか。18ってことは、もう真ん中もやってないんだ。
取ったのはヤドランか。いや、マホか。おっと。まあさすがにまだサナの方が強いな、月光がより。18は。白ができた。速攻2周目。行くのに対してカミルは下にグループしてるぞ。しかし来なかったら
チーム火山行ける人ミュウぐらいだからきつそう。普通にサナとか育ちそう。
まあお互い育つね。お互い行ってないし、まあ8分じゃない。8分でどっちが9になるんだろうねって感じ。
波乗りができてたら、あ、いやでも
2周食っただけでなるかな。
サイコショック食らって
8ちょっと食えてればいけるか。さあお互い7ですね。真ん中カミルだけだ。ルネサンスは上2か。これ上2だね。どっちが取ったか分からんな。真ん中いいとこで待ってる。いや、捕まった。危ね
え。いや、赤の魔法が死んだ。
欲しい。
Yeah, and Shuel wasn't really able to contribute because he was very low coming in from that central area. So unfortunate for Secret Rare to give that knockout away to Renaissance. You really want to snowball if you can, but if you're going to give these knockouts away, I think you sometimes have to be a little bit.
ガルドができればまだなんとかなりそう。カミル3周目食いに行くかな。いや、レーンのやつもやるんか。
レーンで9になるの多分これ。9分わかんのかな。9分空いたら9になりそうだけど。
下5だな。シークレットリール。もうあんま育つのは許容だけど、まだウリムなんよな。サナ9やろこれ。打って9。ガルドできてる。サナ帰ってきた。こっから外きついぞ。あ、でもお互い9できてる。うわ、やべ。
あのエナ入ってた誰かに。
あのエナわかんねえ。
取ったのはバンムーだ。
やるやん。
4レベルのウリムが取った。
お
Secret Rare,
あ、
they
強い。
were supposed to win
わ
ああ、
this
ボ
fight.
タン
You need
波乗りなかったな、多分
to
今の。
get those
うん
levels
惜しい
to snowball, especially with this double defender lineup, because ultimately the sustain is going to
でも
favor
これもお互いトントンで集団戦迎えたら
Renaissance
結構ミュウ強いからな。
these battles.
That's right, and they've already squeezed in
射程勝ちで
quite a heavy amount in this early rounds with 70 pointers here. Sure, it may not seem too significant for the time being, but we know that Secret Renaissance does have a slower approach into getting those evolutions, and now that they are fully evolved, they are ready to take on those battles. So Secret Rare will start to struggle, and Solo's already gotten the first goal zone down.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try and break this bottom goal zone.
やばい、イエスさんが
They are scoring points, but 40 points on this Greninja. He's very hesitant to score, but they will get the pushback though. No, he's going to cancel the
キルが入りそうだ
He's going to
ぞ
try and get rid of that Eldegoss. Not enough damage. He's going to try and score again, but instead his teammate will get it 5 points from the Pylo Swine. They wanted to
うわこれ上
guarantee
止まるか
that break.
な
So we've got a group up here from Secret Rare. Is it time for them to just go
魔法ユナもあるし甘ユナもあるけど魔法だけ行くんだ。いや戻ってきたね。バレている。うわ
あ、だな。
いやー、誰かがいなかった
ーまずいぞ。あいた。
でも、
おっとおっとあ
おっと
惜しいな。下も同時圧だこれ。いやーキルは取れたもののゴールがえぐいな。おおいいの入ってるけどちょっとレベル足んねえ。おわキラがいないのでずれちゃった。
Free farming, getting all those levels, Kangaroo just gonna get bigger and bigger. And Secret Rare, they don't really have anyone farming yet. They will rotate Shua up there, so it's gonna be all down to Heart and
なんか卵海いないね。全部みんな神秘だわ。
どっちだどっちだ青か。
アーマージョ。
13アーマージョ。12か。
Yeah, and now Renaissance turn to shine as they will crash open the gates, and they will dunk in 31 pointers to add up to their total of 253 tally.
ハイファイブルビスもできなかった今さっき。
ルビスは
ウィンター。あれなかったっけ？
じゃない？ルネサンスに入ってきたでしょ？
そう。でも多分ウィンター勝ったハイファイブは
ああな
ルビ
るほど。
スいなかった気する。
They're already having a little bit more of a head start.
Yeah, the game's not over as of yet. I kind of feel like there is absolutely an opening for Secret Rare to make some magic happen, and it might just have to be at this Reggie Alecki. Every single Unite move is available.
あミルが取っていく。
Too late, Renaissance get the Reggie Alecki and Heart.
ただカミリア。
うわーマージョのユナイト強すぎ。ダメージ高っ。
Just two Pokemon left on Secret Rare. You kind of just have to back up at that point.
Yeah, now they get to escort the Reggie Lecky as well. What can Hard do to hold him back? They're still going to be Dan to be in the picture still, so Solo will just back away. They know that, okay, that's all that they really have to do. There's no point of overextending as well, because one more minute, this is the fight that we'll be looking forward to. Secret Rare actually did hold up well for the past 7 minutes, so it's all boiling down to that final team fight.
Yeah, it really is going to come down to this Rayquaza. Now, if you're Renaissance, I don't think you're in the clear as of yet, because if you get caught out by some of these big disables on Secret Rare, I think that's going to be what might potentially lose you that Rayquaza fight, right? So you need to be aware of where the Slowbro is, who he's going to use the Slow Beam on. Make sure that you're not
ゲコのレベルは高い。ゲコだけ高い。
治療になれないか。
ギリなれないかな。ルネサンスレベル高いな。
13、13、13。
14になるね、山。おっとやばい
シラが抱えさせて
シラがフルフォーカスしたら明治2杯がのフルフォーカスが入った
今の白髪捕まえる気だったんかな。
いやー、どうだろう。
あ、仲間を捕まえる気じゃなかったんかな、野口待機で。
いやー、届かんけどなー。
あれ、鼻横切ってる時に、
話しちゃって、オートエムが効いたんかな。
鼻痛からポチポチしたかったね。
まあ、そうね。これは、この時点で魔法と鼻がちょうどフリーでフォーカスしに来たやつを、この2枚で、とんでもないことになってる。医療くんさくは一瞬で終わっちゃった。まあミスなんかな、多分。ミスなような気がする。
denied, and now with the AG stats doing whatever is necessary, Miva even got caught out halfway through it. This is where they will try to go in for exchange, and hard can only last for so long.
いや、ドランから仕掛けて、ミュウの空火も活かせなかったからな。長射程も活かせなかったね。
今日の勝ち。
have much vision on each other. You know, who would be the one to make that first move? I'd assume Secret Rare would be the ones to want to dive into Renaissance, but just it just proves how important it is to have vision and to be spotted like that, especially with the slow bro so aggressively positioned.
Indeed, and when we take a look at that instance of the battle that they had,
強いね、さすがに。
試合の流れも取ってたね。
lock them down, and it needed some seconds for Secret Rare to quickly jump on board, and even when they do, like, was the trade actually worth it? Sure, they got the Elder Gods, but you gotta remember there's so much power coming from the God of War and the Delphox.
It's moments like this when, like, if you had a different Pokemon, let's say you didn't have Mamoswine and you had someone that had a big Unite that could catch Pokemon. I think a good example for this would be, assuming they picked Blastoise, Hydro Typhoon would have been a really great Unite to catch everyone on the side of Renaissance. Big throw up, and it would set up for Miva and Shua to do the damage. If they even had a Gardevoir themselves, right? Throw the Gardevoir Unite on top of Dan. That would have caught so many Pokemon on Renaissance. But just because Renaissance knew there was no big Unite like that to worry about, they were more than happy to hound Dan.
That's right, and of course, this is just the result of the very first game. There's still one more opportunity for Secret Rare in the upcoming battle. So I'm looking at these Pokemons that they've selected. I would say that not necessarily it was the easiest for them to execute their plan, especially when you have a high skill cap Pokemon like a Mew, where you always need to know exactly what you're favoring in terms of the abilities that you're using in every battle.
Yeah, I feel I could understand what Secret Rare wanted to do with this double defender strat. But I kind of just didn't feel the impact of the Mamoswine at all. The whole point of Mamoswine is that you run into the opposing team and you just get those back-to-back freezes. Like, that's one of the reasons why you pick up this Pokemon. But he just couldn't do it. There was too much mobility, too many dashes, too many ways for Renaissance to juke him, and so it kind of limited what Mamoswine could have done in this game. And it wasn't like the Mamoswine was picked first. It was towards the middle of the draft.
Yeah, and I think like the lack of sustainability in those team fights have also hurt them for a little bit as compared to what Renaissance have on the table, where so long as you do get those picks done, like, great, but you need to basically close out the fight instantly. But Renaissance could always come back again and just layer through your health bars each respective time that they do commit to those battles. And I felt like Renaissance
結構いるな
many of all these objectives in the early game as well, where they scaled up perfectly heading into late battles.
I mean, they got everything that they needed. I don't think Renaissance
めっちゃ見るな
intimidated.
東南アジア
I mean, we saw Hart try to go for the catch, but Renaissance's positioning just never allowed Aegis Slash to get on top of the Dull Fox, to get on top of
わあ、
Cameroon.
そったら
Like,
強いよな、
the
やっぱ。
attackers were just fully protected. I think this is the one game
まあ、構成によっては難しそうだけど、
like you should have swapped out
まあ、
this one for a
こんだけ押せてたらな。
Yeah, like
誰殴っても
it could have been a
いい
really
飛びそ
defender option by now. Like, I know we're not over that Pokemon
No,
because of what
after
happened
last
last
week.
week.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess like other than Greedon, like even if they want to amp up the firepower and pick some other Pokemon or take another all-rounder if they're willing to, then there are things that they can consider. But we saw the
Yeah.
bans. I mean, there was the lack of a Scyther, there was no Urshifu for them to go along with, so yeah, they
Well,
were squeezed.
Mr. Mime was available if they wanted a supporter, and it also provides healing if they go for power swap. I think my biggest gripe with the lineup was that they tried to go for the literal brute force, get in your face lineup, but they could just never get in Renaissance's face.
Yeah, and I hope that they could try it once again because we're about to get into another draft
Let's do
very,
it.
very soon. So let's take a look. What's going to be the changes necessary for Secret Rare to push this into game tree?
2戦目も
There's a time to pull out
変わらずだな。また高校だな、シークレットリールは。
one Pokemon that might just
まあ今
help
高
you
校の方がピッ
into
ク
the
作
game
りやすいよ
that
な。
you have.
そんな感じはするね。
It would be
思う。
massive for them to take a game in this series because now all of a sudden it would mean
まあ
they
スト
would
ライ
have
クは
a
取れる
chance
ね。
of getting that third
あれさっき
spot
取ってたっ
if you
け
could
初手ハピナスしてたっけ
in the coming
ハピナスしてた。
This is such a
朝の
game
取らんでハピナ
defining
スなんよ
secret
ね。
rare.
They really
What
have
is
to
it?
take this opportunity, especially now with Sableye left available. If Renaissance doesn't pick it, I see it being
They don't
Hey,
need to. I don't feel
sure
like
enough.
yeah, I don't feel like they need to pick up the Sableye because it's like yeah, it's there, but it's not really a Pokemon that you need. It's annoying. I think that's why people ban it because it's just so annoying to play against. But Renaissance are just like we don't need gimmicks.
Yeah,
We
but
play
they
with the
say,
good
you know
stuff.
what? This is not a gimmick. Like they hovered in and it's like, okay, let's go for the safe option, and we will just have
Is it
the most solid
Blastoise?
defender.
As
Sort of like, oh, フーパー来た。フーパーカメだ。
出た、フーパーカメ
The。Hoopa.
And the Hoopa as well.
でもカビゴン一応いるからな。カメ以外のボールは止められる
This。is going to be the first or second Hoopa. I kind of feel like we've seen it, but then I'm not sure if maybe I was watching another stream or something. But I am glad to see Hoopa. This is a much forgotten support. I think it's probably the least picked support up until this point. And then Blastoise is probably even the least picked defender. Oh no, Crustle would be another. Yeah, I think Crustle and Blastoise are in the same category.
I feel like Renaissance is going on full experiment mode right now.
Why not?
They're also hovering Pikachu.
What? Is it Cameru? I don't think it's
Come on,
Cameru
come on,
Pikachu.
come on.
No.
Let's get it. Yes.
I don't think it's Cameru Pikachu. I think it'll be like support Pikachu. So Cameru's probably going to be playing on that Scyther. Unless he goes Blastoise, I'd be pretty happy to see Central Area Blastoise.
I feel like Cameroon has so many ways of playing.
ピカチュウ、
many, different
もう
playstyles.
カメメインキャリーに置いてるね。
Oh my
これ
goodness.
ピカチュウジャングルちゃん。あ、ちゃうか、さすがに。
マジ
I think it is for himself here.
神になんか一回ピカチュウジャングルしこう
やってた。
でもさすがにあれやな。ストライクいるから。
Move around the map, especially with the help of this Hoopa to basically bring them from one portal to another. So,
Oh my
I
goodness.
wonder, can this Dodrio now match up to the presence that Team Renaissance will have in this match?
It's a big ask. But I feel like if there's a Pokemon that you're going to surprise with, it's probably the Dodrio. As common as he is, the playstyle for Dodrio is so... I kind of feel like this Pokemon's a bit cheesy, you know, with what it can do. How it can backcap, how it can quickly make it to fights, and how much damage it can do as well, you know. It chases those squishies, especially if you're a Pikachu. Dodrio is a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. And when we look at Secret Rare's game plan here, it's pretty straightforward. The reason why they have this Venusaur here is so that they could just survive with all these Petal Dance and also to have the Blissey on board. So when it comes down to team fight, you want them to hold as long as possible. And you draw the attention until this Dodrio finds this
エンチャンターに渡すね、よく。
Yeah.
バナ、バナも強そう、バナハピ。確かに、がっつり集団戦したらシークレットリールにちょっと分があるかもしれない。えぐ
中央じゃん。
ほんまや、縦割りかな誰だ
そうでも赤以外全部ピカチュウでしょ、多分5レベルなのとし。
直しが。直しなかったらやれてたね。ピカチュウジャングル。ピカチュウジャングル。それ以降は亀に食わせんのかな。おー、直し。ストライク5にしないってことは、ストライクの5レベルそんな評価高くないみたいな感じなんかな。
まあ確かに。
確かに他のスピードタイプに比べればってことはあるけど、新速か。
But top side is rather interesting because you start to see that Dodger pathing his way into some enemy territories as well. Of course, needing to still find those EXP. I'm thinking that there's some opportunity that they could also find punishment in the form of this Hoopa as well. So, yeah, Ruvis got to be careful of his position.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of potential to really make some fancy plays happen here with the Hooper. Unfortunately, dead on this Snorlax is just going to be easily taken down by Solo, and they're even going to reset him as well. Easy heals. Bulbasaur still level 4. Being chased, won't be taken out, but this is a pretty dire situation to be in as a Bulbasaur, especially at the 7 minutes. You should have been an Ivysaur by now. The pressure on Bulbasaur is really building up.
だねや。
There's not much left to farm up as
取
well.
った
Looking into giving him a little bit more.
いや、ストライクレベルきつそうやな。やばい
And now look at the
ラッキーが。
It's the spin to win Blastoise build. I love this build. It's Water Spout with, I think, Rapid Spin. Now, one of the biggest
さすがに耐えれないか。
Blastoise is that, especially if he's able to snowball, which is what's kind of happening
おっ
right
と
now.
カメールどんだけ入れたいんやこいつ。
Blastoise is actually a rather
でもレベル高いな。
valuable damage dealer if he's left unchecked. And unfortunately for the side of Secret
だって
Rare, they
10
don't
万
really have a great way
雷。
at
10万
controlling
雷だ
the
ね。
Blastoise
すごいね。しか
to
も
win Blastoise.
これ結
And
構
now
下な
that
ん
you
か。
mentioned it, that
猛攻溜まって
actually
る。
puts Horizons in quite a favorable position when they commit to that team fight because you look at their whole composition, everything screams damage. I mean, put people aside, it's still something. I mean, like they can come from all angles if they want.
Much damage on the side of Renaissance. It's just an Ivysaur. There's only so much you
い
can
や、これ
do.
スノーボールがえぐい。
And it looks like Doji are going to come in
Wow.
from the
えぐいことな
back
ってる。
lines, but look at this. Deleted as well.
Again,
ガチュウユナイト。
spin to win Methodology and eyes. He's feeling ice cold in his veins.
まあこうなったらピカチュウジャングルもね、結果いいね。こうさせることができるのであれば。
Oh my goodness. Just looking at what Renaissance have, especially when you're running such a
This is
high...
so scary.
This is a terrifying lineup to go up against, especially when you've got a Blastoise who is online and ready to go. He's level 10, almost at that 5-minute mark, probably going to hit 11 very soon. And you really just don't have
これ
a
バ
great
ナ
way
きついな。5分で8レベル
One
や
of。the main reasons why Blastoise is generally
レベルが
unfavorable is that
魔法ユナ回収できたら美味しいが回収していく。
things about him is you want to try and get that Hydro Typhoon. If you can get it at a good timing, that's such a threatening Unite move.
That's right, and there's
なんかさ、最近ピクシーさ、強すぎてさ、ハピナスの回復で足りなくなってんなら、
1体しかやってないからな。P が強すぎる。月の光がやばいわ。おあ、違うわ
ス。トライクが
Oh my goodness. They're diving in completely
入りましたね。
Rings unbound, unfortunately going to run out on Rufus, but who
ピカチュウやれてんな、だいぶ。
They're just going to take this Reggie Rock for free.
10万雷。
Just having to sacrifice objective after objective.
ドリオ以外には割と強い。魔法も。
まあ、10万は強いね。遠距離範囲 CC。
Stop the
Don't
bleeding. Secret Rare just have to defend, but when you have that Blastoise around, you can't stand a chance.
No, you just don't feel safe, right? Because now all of a sudden you're thinking like, okay, is there a chance that I'm just gonna get Hydro Typhooned? Right? There's such a big
お、やべえ、3ロト3ロトって言われてる。
especially when it comes to that Rayquaza pit fight later. Hydro Typhoon, probably one of the biggest Unite moves that can win you the Rayquaza fight. You can even use it to try and last hit for Rayquaza. Like, it's such a big AoE. Only ranged attackers can really safely snipe away from a Blastoise.
入るな。あ、でも3ロト消すことには成功しそうだな。お、間に合った。ギャー。うわー。うわー。
3ロトは取ってる。
うわ、惜しいな。うわー。やばい。対象しての鬼。カミルピカチュウ好きやな。
でも最後の方に取ってたよな。このコースだったら別に3でいっていいと思うんだけど、なんでピカチュウなんやろ。
なんでやろうな。聞いてみようぜ。
なんでピカチュウなのって。
うん。
はい。
検査基地ね。
win that Rayquaza fight.
That will definitely be the case where there are not can Secret Rare just steal it right under the noses of Renaissance, especially with Renaissance not really having that pressure because they are more than 200 over points ahead. So Secret Rare, they have to make that first move. They also don't have the damage.
あ、ほんま12か。13一体もいねえ。しかもレジロック。硬そう。火力足りなそうやな。でもカメもまだ13じゃない。帰らせない。雷が、雷の上だそれは。やばい。結構耐えてる、結構耐えてる。あ、10万入った。PC は偉大だな。
頑張れ、全員倒せよ。
あ、カメラ倒した。が残ったのリスしたカビゴンだ。間に合うかな。まあ取ってもやな、取ってもだこれは。
消されたら終わり。
消されたら終わり。
ホットレネサンス強かったな。
強いね、さすがに。これで1位タイやね。
Any goal zones. Yeah, they scored 40 points, but it just goes to show how perfectly they played. And I feel like they line up this game. They played it great. They made sure that Ice was able to evolve at a reasonable timing. Cameroon didn't give away needless KOs, which meant EXP was denied to Secret Rare. It just goes to show that mid lane Pikachu, especially it can work. I wouldn't say it reliably works. Definitely a niche pick, but it's threatening if it doesn't get punished.
That's right, and now only 18 seconds on the clock while they're still pressing on to the final zone.
強いのかもしかして。10万雷。い
や、どうなんやろ。
でもポンポン打てるもんね。10万も雷も。
ああ、そうね。
まあ、中央は食わんくていいかもしれんけどね。まあ連戦普通に強いからな、ピカチュウ自体。
But also at the same time, Secret Rare are now in a very tight spot. They need to win their final game of the tournament to stay in the running for that third spot.
オラウータンとハイファイブと RNS がいる。
Fight the gauntlet from point one.
That's right, and
ね、10万雷地味に痛いんよな。でもピクシーとかいたらさ、無理じゃねえって思ったわ。
確かに
全て
スピンカメと一緒で全て多分回復されてがあるんですよ。雷全部入っても。
だったらサイコショックとか未来予知の方が、まあユナイト早いの偉いけどね。
そりゃそう。
何秒ピカチュウ
ユナイト結構ダメージ出るんだよな。
100秒
100 じゃない
We'll have to check off
カミルが一番ダメージ出してるや。
but I think that
カミルが一番ダメージ出してる。
ほんまや。
I don't need to make a request. I
大丈夫
think it's just interesting information to have, right?
魔法にも
What Pokemon are
若
getting
干
picked,
強いのかどうだろうね。10万、10万当たればみたいなとこあるけど。
towards certain
そうね。
archetypes of
10万
10万当たったら基本的にイメージは殺せるんじゃないその後
ルカとかストライクが入って、この起点作れるのは偉い。遠距離から。
そうね。
あくまでカメがメインキャリーみたいな感じやな。
Being able to just transport you from one realm to the other to just deny Dodgers' chances of just rolling in from the back to score those points.
to
And
score.
I think that itself was quite problematic for Secret Rare to find those golden opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons why Dodrio has just risen in popularity as well.
なんかストライクの評価は低いんかな。そうな。
ね、みんな低そう。
バンしないね。ウーロースやな、やっぱ。
But I think we did have a discussion with Cameru at some point, and I did hear him say that Hooper is absolutely a
まあ、カミルがほぼ明治持つの分かってて。あ、でもシークレットあれか。SR がまだしてるか。
おー。
Yeah, and this whole draft coming in from Renaissance gives us a little bit of that throwback of, you know, how early days patches have worked really well. And I think like this itself is quite the proven formula, especially now with them showing off how you can basically play around this Blastoise.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna make Blastoise super popular, because I still think like the activation of the Pokemon is still.
えぐい刺さりしてんな。
You're not gonna get every game where Blastoise is able to fully evolve, because he evolves at 9 fully, and he also gets his Unite move at 9. So he's a very, very late game oriented Pokemon. But the fact that Renaissance was able to just get those early KOs, to get those early scores, and of course the objectives, pushing him closer towards that level 9 evolution, Ice turned into a real big
新作来るかもワンチャン強いかもな。結構固まるし。
そうね。
勉強になるわ。
相手の構成なんだ。まあ CC 5万のカビだけだしな。変則が。
うん。
Messes up now, we've still got another chance to either win the series or to guarantee our placement for
まあでもピクシーとかいたらね、また話は違ってきそう。
I don't think anyone's really looked like they're even close to doing it either. It's been stomp after stomp after stomp with Renaissance.
The question is, can they stomp MYS though?
Maybe. I think we've got the updated scoreboard as well, and we've got MYS
1位タイです。
Renaissance tied for first place.
でも、2-1-1で MIS 勝ってるからこれルネサンスの方が評価高いんじゃないの？関係ないんか。
2-1-2-1？ いや、他のチームが高くなるだけだね。関係ない。
あ、MIS のポイントは関係ないんだ。
あ、まあ結局、うん。
あ、直接対決残ってるか。なるほど。
まあ同じだったとしても直接対決勝った方が勝ちだから。
A buy round on that third seed placement. So Rise is the current team that's currently holding on to that. The only other team to challenge right now is Escape. Secret Rare. Because Escape 5 have already played all the matches. They'll be sitting out and they're just hoping somehow a tiebreaker rule will come into effect if, in the case, you know, Secret Rare comes in.
Yeah, so at the moment we're not 100% sure
まあ、
on the
東南アジアレベル高いな。
うん。
キックも全然違うしね。
お勉強になります。
These two teams' final matchup, it will be a three-way tie for third place. Now, the reason why third place is important here, or at least the third seed, is that the team playing third seed plays one less best of 3 during the second phase of the tournament.
That's right. And you know, just looking
すごいな、3回試合して無敗のチーム2つあんの。
coming in from every different region, and I felt like the team with the best understanding of how each respective Pokemon and how it can complement one another in every composition will have that formula lead. And I think evidently, for at least for the time being, it's Renaissance as well as Team MYS that has been able to fully understand what has worked best so far.
Yeah, I mean, the two teams, just looking at how they play, you can tell that there's a layer of experience. They just play at another level compared to some of the other teams in the competition, right?
Meanwhile, like other teams as well, I think they have been adapting and learning very, very quickly at the same time.
Yeah. All right, it looks like we have a interview lined up. So, of course, let's hear it from our winners. I think it's Death here. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Hi, of course. It has been
あれ
another
これは
great victory for you and the rest of Renaissance.
デ
ブ
And
こんな人
so
だっ
far,
け
the record has been
会ったことあるよね。
2-0. I want to ask you, how confident are you guys to basically end the entire run to secure first spot in an undefeated streak?
We are quite confident.
That's good to hear.
It's good to hear. Dev, I'm not sure if it was your idea to draft the Blastoise, but what was the thought process for Renaissance when Blastoise came up? Because this is a Pokemon that has rarely appeared in the Asia Champions League. We're actually not sure if it's even appeared in Southeast Asia so far.
I think Blastoise is a good pick because it's a tank and it can do a lot of damage while having those immunity from CC. Plus we got Hoopa on our team and those two works together like very good.
So it's a combination.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
of course we also did see that the Pikachu was also bring forward on the table, which we have not seen for such a long time, and it definitely was a joy to that. So, is that all the surprises that we've already gotten? What else is there? Mind to share?
Hey, you.
誰か訳してくれ。
Going into
I'll keep
strats.
that. I'll
Let
keep
me-
that.
I want to ask Dev, what was the idea behind Cameru's Pikachu? Because I think a lot of people, when they see Pikachu, it's normally played in some kind of semi-support role. Is Pikachu mid actually viable?
I think the best lane for Pikachu now is mid lane.
Really?
Because it's almost the same like the Fox. He has a low cooldown in his Unite timing and he can carry the early game pretty well with the level 4.
Yeah, so it's
Fine.
a level 4
That's it.
timing.
Wow, great insight as well. I think like anyone looking forward to carry Pikachu, well, I guess like this is possibly the best time.
It might be, maybe. Who knows? Maybe Renaissance sets the meta for the pubs as well. You know, going to start seeing some more of those mid Pikachus in Southeast Asia. So you do have one more matchup going up against MYS. I think we already asked Cameru about this previously, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts, Dev. When it comes to MYS, what do you feel is going to be something that fans need to watch out for when you guys go up against MYS in that best of 3?
Something, sorry, what?
What do you feel like are the strongest features of MYS
この
so
インタビュー
far
は
after seeing
何
them
を喋ってるん
play?
だろうな、マジ。
教えて
海
ほしい。
外のインタビュー長くないマジ。
長いね。
Really respect them all. And yeah,
日
that's
本
it.
一瞬やん。
They are unexpectable.
Oh, they're unpredictable. Okay.
Yeah, unpredictable.
Well, I would say that you guys are equally as unpredictable with the draft as well. I think like that itself is also one of the strengths where you guys have so many things that you guys can bring to the table. But in terms of, you know, the environment right now as a team, like you guys have gone through so many tournaments, like have you guys came into the ACL with a very different mindset as compared to, you know, back in the WCS or so?
What do you mean by that?
In the sense like, is there a form of thing that you guys have changed in terms of mindset, in terms of the from different tournaments that you guys have brought up until now? Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
Hang on, I think I've got another question that I might be able to do with this. So, Dev, just a question about Renaissance as a team. How would you compare the old Renaissance to the new Renaissance? Like, how do you feel like the team has improved?
Oh, I think we get along with each other a lot, and we play a lot. We discuss a lot as a team, and we like to try a lot of different things. Yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you so much for the interview, Dev. It was amazing to hear your thoughts on the team as well as the picks for today. Good luck on your match against MIS. You guys are different, I promise. Good luck in your matchup in the final week. But yeah, that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dev. Good luck.
Have a good night.
Oh goodness, I'm really
終わった。
hyped up for this upcoming match.
もう1インタビューでない
It's going to be the Battle of the Titans,
何言
Battle
っ
of
て
the
るかわからないイン
Goliaths.
タ
There's
ビュー
no
終わった。
David in this matchup. Both teams have proven track
まあ
records.
嬉しいって言ったん
I
やろうな。
agree. I mean, like, it's also the best
き
way
っと
to
そう。
end the first stage to also see who definitely deserves that first ticket into the grand finals of the ACL.
Yeah, and I think another thing to note as well, so for anyone that came into the broadcast and you're kind of wondering, like, why are we still playing with some of the old Pokemon? We are still, in this broadcast, playing on the old patch. So the next week, we are going to be playing on the new
あれ
patch for
勝利
Southeast
インタ
Asia.
ビューだけな
So
のか
that's
な
going to be an extra layer
あ、そうだよ。海外ってのは敗者インタビューになるイメージあ
figure
る。
out what's going to be the next best thing. Are certain Pokemon still viable?
That's right. And with that being said, I believe that they will have to go back into the drawing board to really figure out what works best in the brand new patch. So, of course, with that being said, let's also keep you guys up to speed again on what you guys can get for yourself. And if you guys have been tuning in, you don't want to miss out on securing all these loot for yourself, where we have all these Pokemon TCG cards for you to win, the stacks, as well as the Pokemon folders that you can get your hands on once you complete your registration on Stream Elements while you're watching the stream through Twitch.
And to maximize the number of points you get, make sure you tune into every broadcast. I mean, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and India. All three regions are going to help you get those points so that you can redeem your rewards. Now, we're going to have some of these prizes on the desk here so you can physically see what you could be getting. We have the very obvious one. We have the tins. Now, these tins come in...
すごい、このファイル。
ねめっちゃよくね
So, here
フォローヤー
are
が
the tins. Now, they come in three variations.
日本なんでないんだろうね、これ。
ねこれなんだろう、これは。
わからん。
Inside each tin, there is going to be
でも日本は
こ
の紹介の時にジュエリーの紹介してるから、
あー
日本はあれなんかもしれない。
確かにね。
Contra, I do believe you've got the folders.
あとチョコと。
I've already flexed it on screen for quite some time, and I definitely know that all you guys who are at work or so, like, this could be
At school.
a great conversation starter for those of your friends, like, hey, they love Pokemon too, and you guys can basically share the love and joy. And on my hands, more booster packs, and this actually comes with 3 foil Pokemon TCG cards that features Galarian Articuno,
ポケカもあるんや、ポケカ
as
も。
well as Moltres, and not forgetting the Surfetch coin.
これにこ
that looks
関係なく
absolutely
見えないと。
He looks so cute. I love his little angry
ガラル
face,
山頂
his
やけど。
little angry eyebrows. So
Yeah.
good luck to everybody that registers for our amazing giveaway. It's eligible for everyone in Southeast Asia, so make sure you register right now because you want to start collecting those points. You are competing with existing viewers. We also want to remind all of you, if you haven't already, do bookmark our micro site. This is your Bible to the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League. It's got dates, it's got teams, it's got schedules, and everything you need to know about the tournament. Make sure it's saved, make sure it's bookmarked. If you have any questions about the tournament, this is the place to go.
That's right, and of course, that is going to be a wrap from both of us, where we're definitely looking forward to the final week of the first stage of the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League for Southeast Asia, and also for some other regions as well.
Exactly. Now, don't forget, we still have some interesting matchups coming up soon. I think India's actually finished, unfortunately, so that means we've got one more week of East Asia and one more week of Southeast Asia. So make sure to come back next week for the finale for these two regions. But that's going to be it for us. My name is Janely. His name is Contra. Make sure you register for the giveaway, and we'll see you all next week.
Next week.
Next week.
はい、それではありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
ってことで、ウィンターの決勝見ますか。配信来てきます。はい、お疲れ。はい、というわけでご視聴ありがとうございました。これもうね、ウィンターも親幕が2本取ってるのかな。みんなで日本代表、日本を応援しに行きましょう。それではご視聴ありがとうございました。またね。明日配信できると思うんで、よろしければまた見に来てください。それではご視聴ありがとうございました。